Well, this is an outrage. We have a master bomb maker on the loose.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, April 12th, 2015. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 712.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating Russian Orthodox Easter and Cosmonauts Day. Broadcasting live from the Crackpot Condo in downtown Austin, Texas, FEMA Region 6 in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where they're cluster bombing the 6-week cycle, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Yeah, they're cluster bombing it all right.
Cluster bombs. It's the American way. Why drop one bomb when you can drop two?
That's right. That's right. Hey, good news.
Okay.
I'm going to Vegas this week.
How's that good news?
Well, I'll tell you why. I'm so convinced that we are going to be a write-in winner for the podcast awards in the comedy.
All right.
We'll be a write-in, I'm telling you.
Because those comedians, they never get any votes.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think I should go.
Okay, yeah, I think you should too. Now I don't have to.
It's the National Association of Broadcasters, so I can roam around there.
Go to every once in a while anyway.
Yeah, I have to go visit our Grand Duke.
Is Foley going to be down there?
Yeah, he has the Ultraflix, the 4K TV thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Go visit him.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him to the awards Tuesday night, so he can be on. I'll make him accept. I'll make him accept along with me.
Okay.
Yeah, for the comedy award.
Sounds good to me. They've been wanting you down there forever.
I know, but
they want you to show up.
Yeah. Well, I'm really a little more interested in the National Association of Broadcasters convention.
Yeah, it's a very good show.
Yeah.
I went last year, I guess. Yeah. Was it last year? I think so.
Yeah. Oh, good. So then you can go next year. Well, speaking of which, I don't know. Do we want to start off with this? What do we want to start off with? There's so much. The podcasting patent is actually something kind of interesting.
Yeah, they finally did something about that. So all the worry and fretting and what are we going to do? Let's give our money to Adam Carolla. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah. So congratulations to EFF for literally the TLDR version of this is even better than invalidating the podcasting patent. According to the documents, the court says the concept of a compilation file with episodes or what do they call it? I have to look it up. Or URIs or URL addresses to episodes contained in the compilation file is unpatentable, which is more than I could have hoped for, because this means that an RSS feed with enclosures, which is a podcast feed, is unpatentable because of prior art. But there's a few interesting things that popped up in this. And first of all, I really liked reading the transcript of the final arguments, which took place in December, and then of course we have the opinion of the court, or the decision of the court. But these guys, what is their name again? Audio, whatever, something, doesn't matter. Their lawyer screwed it up, and I mean big time. Really screwed it up. This case was won on two basic points. One is that a compilation file, and they actually use a CNN example from CNN they had back in the day. Now we're talking 95, 96, I think. They were using the Mosaic browser, the screenshot, Mosaic browser. That's how old this prior art was. CNN had an educational page, and the argument from the EFF's lawyers, which I want to talk about in a moment, was that the compilation file did not necessarily have to be the same one, did not have to be replaced. It could be amended. They had all these extra pieces that the patent holders just didn't think to put in there. And what was funny is it really came down to the difference between the argument. The final argument was, what is an episode and what is a segment? And the patent, this is where they screwed up. They said that the compilation file, which we would just know as an RSS feed, will have individual episodes that relate to each other. And they argued that the CNN example was not a compilation file with episodes that related to each other because they were different topics. However, they are, of course, related because they are segments of an overall world news show. So it really got into some very fine, minute detail, which these guys could have easily gotten rid of if they had written their patent a little more broadly. And so the EFF ultimately prevailed. And a very expensive path for EFF to take to have a review of a patent and actually to have it busted. But when you think about the implications for the internet in general, if these guys had prevailed, then they would have had a patent that would have applied to YouTube, because YouTube has a compilation file and there's information and has different segments. If you have a channel, it would have pertained to Netflix, any other video on demand service that pops up information about new episodes. Everybody would have to have been paying these guys. And that is probably why it wasn't EFF's lawyers who actually won the case. Isn't that interesting? Greenberg Traurig. You ever hear of these guys?
No.
Greenberg Traurig are these. So the two lawyers from Greenberg Traurig are Richard Pettis, and the other guy is here it is. Pettis is the main guy. They hired two of these lawyers. Now, this is one of the largest intellectual property law firms in the world, with 2012 billings I found of $1.2 billion. So it wasn't really the EFF lawyers. I wonder why. These guys, Greenberg Traurig, when Katy Perry sued people for using the left shark from the Super Bowl halftime show, because people were making T-shirts and stuff like that, she went to these guys. This is the premier intellectual property law firm in the country, one of the best in the world. I wonder, do they do business with Google? Do they do business with Netflix? Why, yes, they do. So this whole podcast part, I think, was these guys were really trying to get into a much larger pool of money. And EFF jumped in. And I always wondered, man, this is so expensive for them to do this. But we know where EFF gets most of their funding from.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Google gives them $1 million a year. Apple gives them $1 million a year. They're doing the work for corporate America.
Well,
now,
it's a great theory of yours, except it doesn't explain a couple of things, which I'm more interested in than this inside baseball stuff here you're doing. One, what did the EFF lawyers go there yakking away and say, and now we're bringing out these guys?
No, but these guys did all the argumentation. They're on the December 12th transcript.
And I'll ask the question again. At what point and how did EFF hook up with them?
They just hired them. What do you mean? The EFF lawyers were never no one ever looked at who the lawyers were. It wasn't the EFF lawyers. It's been these guys all along. I just suddenly went, hold on a second. Who are these lawyers?
Okay, well, that's different.
So they hired them.
Okay.
But it's not like they're saying, good work by Greenberg Traurig. No, EFF takes all the credit.
Well, if you hired an attorney and you won the case, you'd take the credit too, wouldn't you? You wouldn't, all of a sudden, it wouldn't be about the attorneys. Isn't that the way it always is? General Motors beats, somebody.
Okay, all right.
General Motors gets the credit, not some attorneys.
Okay.
Right?
But EFF is a legal organization. They have staff lawyers. I found it interesting.
Well,
they hired
like
very
you can hire. It's really it's a special it's an interest group. It's not an attorney. It's not a firm.
Thank you. Special interest group. Yes, I would classify them as that. Not as necessarily all right. You don't care. Fine. I thought it was interesting.
Well, I find it interesting that you were all in on this. Oh, they're legally entitled to the patent. I've read the patent. It's great. You thought they had a good patent.
I thought they had a very good patent.
Well,
absolutely.
Nobody has a good patent when you bring out the big guns.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And the whole thing, I'm surprised nobody spotted this earlier. And in the meantime, what happened to the $1 million that goes to Corolla, and what was he supposed to do with it?
Well, so he did nothing with it except took the money, and I guess used it for lawsuits. That is. Oh yeah, wasn't that the promise? No,
isn't he?
No, he's not going to give it to charity. He has a couple lawsuits from. I know exactly what happened with Adam Carolla. Now I figured it out. So Adam Carolla makes his money with his appearances, with his shows and stuff like. He's not making a lot of money on podcasting, and what he's making, he's paying people $50,000-$60,000 to run his show and run a little bit of the network. And he's like, well, they can have whatever's left over there, and he's pulling in much bigger money, and that's why his former employers or employees are suing him. His co-host is suing. Everyone's suing this guy.
Well, he needs the money for suits.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm incredibly happy. I just thought it was interesting that the EFF went out of house to the most expensive law firm. And so special interest groups. They did this not for, I guess let's put it this way. Great job, but we know you really did it for Google.
Maybe Apple is a little bit in there.
Yes, because Apple already had to pay.
It could have been the networks for all you know. I mean, it sounds to me the way you're now describing it as though they could go after everybody in the world who made a list, shopping list.
Yeah, that compilation file.
Okay, lady, get over here. You owe us $5 for making a shopping list.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought that was interesting.
I'm sorry, but these items are not related. I've read that patent. Milk has nothing to do with flour. Yes, they do in baking a cake.
Well, that is the patent system for sure. Well, I was happy.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah,
I don't know why you were. I think we were pretty neutral on this thing. We weren't subject to the nasty note. Little guy.
That was the clue. That was the clue that we're really unimportant in the universe. They sued everybody except me and you.
Well, they never sued anybody. They just sent nasty notes out.
Well, I never saw a note, so I don't know exactly what. Leo,
next time I go up there, I'm going to ask to see the note. Says that I don't think he would show it, but I think they will now that the case is over. Moot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post it.
Yeah.
I'll post it right alongside of those flyers that they dropped in the Middle East, which I have sitting over here that I'm going to post.
What flyers in the Middle East?
I talked about this. We had one of our producers flew a C for one of the big transport carriers, and at the end of every run, they would fly back over the area and throw out these little what look like dollar bills with a bunch of Arabic on them, telling people to resist we much or something. I'm not sure what it says. You already forgot.
It was something like that.
But resist we much.
Alrighty.
Okay, lots of topics today.
Yes.
Have you been getting enough sleep?
Me?
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
You seem groggy.
Hold on a second.
Hello, Kettle. This is the pot calling.
Who's groggy?
I'm not groggy.
Oh, well, I stayed up all night working on this EFF thing, and you just shot me down.
Shoot you down? It's just like, how many people in the audience care?
I think people care in the audience. What do you mean?
I don't think anybody in our audience cares one way or the other.
I think it's interesting that EFF doesn't use their in-house lawyers, hired these guys, and that you said they're an interest group. I just want to be clear that EFF is not necessarily your friend. They did a good job, but they're an interest group.
Well, if you were Google, they'd be your friend.
Yes, that would be my point. Chat room cares, by the way.
That's going to be the chat room. Well, there you have it. That proves my point.
Oh, you are so mean. Mean. Well, I'm holding back now. Why don't you start off with something?
I got a lot of stuff that nobody's covering.
Uh-huh.
Let's start with this one. Now, this I got off of a press conference. I never heard of this. I didn't know anything about it. This is actually from about a week ago. And I don't think anybody cares about it.
About this either?
I think it's more important than the EFF thing, but nobody cares. This is even worse in terms of anybody caring. Underreported story of the year.
Okie doke.
Our colleagues at the Daily Caller have published a story reporting that potentially millions of current and former illegal immigrants now have the opportunity to fly their children to the United States with taxpayer dollars. and that upon arrival, these individuals would be eligible for benefits, including free education, health care, and food stamps. The story further alleges that this is a program being jointly administered by DHS and the Department of State.
Well, the first sentence you said was not true. This program is not a pathway for children to join undocumented relatives in the United States. The program only allows parents from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras who are lawfully present in the United States to request U.S. resettlement for children under the age of 21 who are still in one of these three countries. So the parent or parents in the United States have to be lawfully present in the U.S. We've established this program to provide a safe, legal, and orderly alternative, as we talked about, to this very dangerous journey that some children are currently undertaking to join parents in the United States.
What's the price tag?
The price tag? I don't know.
Okay.
Well, doesn't anybody find this ridiculous? Somebody comes over here on a tourist visa, brings their wife, and then they say, hey, by the way, I want my kids here. Here, you pay.
Yeah.
How is this not like a story that everyone's talking about?
Well, because of, let me think. I don't know, global warming? Climate change? Anything could be distracting us from that. No one cares.
Global warming, that's exactly it. Why didn't I think of it?
Yeah. I know. It's horrible. And in fact, it's true. Here's the president. On climate change.
The Pentagon has already said that climate change is a primary national security threat that we're going to face. And we are working with the Department of Defense to start preparing for that and mitigating for that. And a lot of our international policy and national security policy is centered around the very real concerns that's going to raise.
So,
hold on a second. Let me go look out the window because I can see the bay here, and I can see where the...
Is it attacking you yet?
I'm looking. No, it's actually a mudflat still. Huh. I don't understand that.
We have a new Surgeon General. His name is Vivek Murthy. I think is how you pronounce it. Young guy. And he followed this. This has been climate change disaster week over there in Washington, D.C. And he did it never ceases to amaze me that these guys will take questions via Twitter. I mean, how stupid are they?
If you're smart.
Nah, well, but the questions are always the same. It's
that's the point.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe. It's just what do they think they achieve out of it? If you look at the top tweets on, Ask the Surgeon General, it's all,
yes.
It's bad. It's not exactly what they would want.
Hey, man, is your wife hot?
Hey, you saw my tweet. Here is his, now this is the thing that the president started and is now propagating, which we have to put a stop to this outrageous lie.
Climate change, as it turns out, has a number of impacts on health. Human health is affected, for example, through extreme weather events, through wildfire and decreased air quality.
Yeah, by being burned and drowning.
Affected by being burned to death.
Yeah.
And through diseases transmitted by insects, food, and water.
Diseases transmitted by insects, food, and water. Could it get any worse?
Many times people think about the direct health impact of extreme weather and issues like asthma and heat stress. But there are also other impacts.
Heat stress. We're gonna warm by 2 degrees, and we're gonna die of heat stress now. Please.
That warmer temperatures can have on human health. For example, warmer temperatures can increase the likelihood that insect-borne diseases like dengue and chikungunya might make their way further north.
Chikungunya.
Yeah, no, he's mixing up his diseases with his Indian food.
In the morning.
Into the continental United States as temperatures become warmer and the climate becomes more favorable for tropical organisms to survive.
That was one of the racist things I've ever heard you say, John. It was funny.
Chikungunya sounds like a recipe. I could have done it without using the word Indian. I could have said, it's something he had at the restaurant last night. There's a lot of ways I could have handled it, but it seemed
I liked it
quicker.
Now, allow me to ask you a question.
That wasn't racist.
No.
How's it racist? The Indian people are Caucasians. They're just dark-skinned.
It was bigoted.
Well, it was. It was bigoted.
Well, it was bigoted, yeah.
They do have funny names.
So the president said that one of his daughters has asthma. And
he's made this claim recently.
Yeah. And he says, hey, this is because of carbon pollution. Now, let's just review for a moment. he doesn't really mean, well, if it actually is carbon pollution he's talking about, but this is just a trick of a play on words. Instead of saying carbon dioxide, which is what you exhale.
Oh, you know, they've been using carbon pollution for a while. You know that.
Yeah, we've been tracking this. Right. Yeah. But I would like to say that perhaps someone should ask the president if it's maybe possible that his smoking aggravated her asthma.
Well, did we know that he's still smoking?
Well, he smoked at least 2 years ago. That could have.
I wonder if he smells like tobacco, like smoke when he comes out. You go, oh God, that guy stinks. Smells like a.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, well, the White House press corps, the people that bump into him, should know whether he smokes or not, because he would smell.
They should ask from time to time.
Yeah, I would say his secondhand smoke would have a lot more to do with it than climate change.
Yes, thank you. Most I was going to say most emailed response topic.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we had 2 of them. Top of the list, vocal fry.
Oh, vocal fry. Yes, we did get a lot of email about that.
Tons.
And most people were on our sides and so far that it's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the...
well, I think everyone agrees that it's annoying.
No. The apparently a couple of podcasts out there were...
I have it. I have one here.
Calling one of our producers a racist.
What?
No. Or a sexist.
Who?
A sexist pig.
Wait a minute. I missed this.
For claiming that one of their guests suffered from extreme vocal fry, and I listened to her, and she does. She does.
What podcast was that?
I can't remember the name of it. It's a new one one of the new ones that's cropped up recently.
Someone gave me a definition of vocal fry from some Google Books medical journal. This goes back. I think this was published in 2010, and this was interesting. I just have a little snippet of it here. Gender and authority. The connections between gender and how one positions oneself as an authority needs much more study, but recent research indicates that even the way we produce our speech can be gendered. Women use creaky voice, also called vocal fry, much more than men. Creaky voice is an effect produced by vibration of the vocal cords at just one end, so sound comes through, but it sounds raspy. One way to produce it is to pronounce button without pronouncing the T. Button. It works. Button. The sound you produce instead of the T can be prolonged, and that is creaky. Creaky voice. Recent research has shown that people hear it and believe that the speakers are knowledgeable and educated.
Yeah.
UASA 2010.
That 2010 was becoming an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
This is what is the most fascinating part of the story.
Let me read on.
We mentioned it in the last thing, which is that for some reason, there seemed to be more authoritative. It sounds to me as that they're drowning.
Some researchers hypothesize that young women may use it to sound more authoritative because it lowers the pitch of their voices. It is not used in every word, but it can be used for a phrase or a speaker's turn, such as, yeah, I think I've heard of that. Its rapid spread coincides with another phenomenon, and that is a lowering of pitch in women's voices in comparison with 50 years ago. The lowering of voice pitch is significant in thinking about how women position themselves because, generally speaking, men have lower voices and generally more political and social power than women. And I have a fantastic example here of this authoritativeness. And it's so fantastic because this is a woman, it's a couple of them, but I really honed in on the one who's doing it, who has the vocal fry. One place where you can always find certainly women and some guys who want to be authoritative is in the fashion industry, because no one gives a shit if you're an authority or not. But if you're an authority, then you can be rich, famous, and powerful. Would you agree?
Yes, I'm all in.
All in. This is Nilay Patel, who, by the way, is the epitome of fashion. Hello, Nilay. 1980 called and wants your studded bracelet back, dude. Have you ever seen him wearing a studded bracelet?
Yeah.
So he takes the Apple Watch to, and I guess this is one of those Vox Media, is it Vox? Yeah, Vox Media, the Rack. I think it's called the Rack.
I don't know.
It's called the rack. It's the rack. And so he takes the Apple Watch to the women of the rack and sits at the round table and says, what do you think? Is this going to be a fashion accessory? And hey now, vocal fry.
But wait a minute. All of this seems really interesting as a tech gadget, but the watch is supposed to be a fashion item as well. Is it actually cool? I went and asked the fashion editors at rack.com to find out. Is there like a lot of interest from your readers, from like young women who read a fashion magazine? Is there not a lot of interest? What's the vibe?
I think that there's a certain kind of like person who wants to know what's happening and wants to have the latest product immediately because it makes them feel really savvy. I feel like that's dissipating a little bit though. Like that person who like has to have the iPhone first. Like I don't know that they're going to feel that way about the watch. In terms of whether the fashion world will adopt it or not, I don't know that they're going to adopt it as a design object. I do think this is a watch that makes you feel important, and people who work in fashion like to feel important.
Like, is this cool? Does it stand a chance of being cool?
It's almost over.
I think that if it gets adopted all over the place, fashion people are going to find a reason to love it, but I don't think that they're going to love it as a beautifully designed object.
Well, you've captured Fry plus Uptalk.
Yes.
What is wrong with these women?
I don't know. Well, they want to be authorities.
And Uptalk combined. This is the next step, by the way.
Yeah, this is the future.
This is a movement that started with Uptalk, deteriorated into Fry, and now we have the combination of the two. And as you recall, when I played one of the clips, which was with some ex-sociologist, said, they're setting trends in the way that we communicate.
Trends. We're trending. Well, it's not good, and it will end all by itself.
That girl, whoever she was,
she's from the rack.
Nothing but Fry.
I'm from the rack. Yeah. People in fashion like to feel important.
You can't even.
I can't even do it.
Get close to it.
This will end if she keeps doing that. Annie, one of our producers,
she'll be dead.
She'll be dead in a week.
Sound like she'll be dead in a week. She'll sound like Selma and sister Patty on The Simpsons. Well, you smoked a lot when you were younger.
Exactly. Annie, one of our producers, who forgot to send the obligatory picture, says, funny you should mention vocal fry. I've been trained as a singer from a young age, mostly opera, jazz, Broadway stylings. And vocal fry is a huge issue as far as singing goes. When someone does vocal fry, they don't actually run the air past their vocal cords. The vocal cords are rubbing together, much like when a singer goes too high too often, causing strain. Vocal fry.
I think it's the same as a frog croaking or crickets. There's no air involved.
Rubbing their legs together. Hey, girls, stop rubbing your legs together. Vocal fry is damaging to the vocal cords and can result in nodes, which can only be removed surgically. Hence why I cringe.
Polyps.
Yes, hence why I cringe every time I hear Meghan Trainor's all about the bass, At this rate, she'll have no voice by 35.
Jay's Buskill Jr.'s wife is a trained singer.
Uh-huh.
And she talks about this all the time. She says it's extremely damaging to do that to your voice, especially if you're a singer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we will continue.
We've done nothing to stop this trend. Now we have the Uptalk combination version, but we'll talk about it.
It's a fry up. We call it a vocal fry up.
What do you do now when you run in? You mentioned last time that you ran into some people in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And in Austin, when you run into somebody that does what they were doing, do you call them out?
No, I punch him in the gut. Usually. No, I don't. I try not to hang around those people. It's not good. Yeah, just a knee to the groin. Hey, stop that. You could lose your voice. No good.
All right. Well, it's our vocal fry update. We need a jingle.
We do.
This is good material.
I agree.
Believe me, I think listening to somebody that exaggerates that phenomenon, like Jill Abramson or whatever her name,
Jill Abramson,
blah blah.
Abramson.
I think it is fascinating, endlessly fascinating.
Well, we have some form of very strange fascination with words and trending topics of sayings and stop words, and that language is fascinating.
Because there's more, because you get a lot out of it. Now, talking about, I do have another clip that's, I think we mentioned something here. Where is this thing? I got too many clips.
Yeah, I noticed.
Well, you were talking about the doctor, the new Surgeon General. So this clip comes to mind, which is another underreported story. I want to get these out of the way. It's not completely underreported because since this story came from the Associated Press, but nobody's paying any attention to it. I am, and I think it's kind of funny. This is the Veterans Administration story.
It never stops.
Thousands of U.S. veterans are still on long waiting lists for medical care a year after a scandal at the Department of Veterans Affairs. The Associated Press reported today the number of veterans waiting more than 30 to 60 days for an appointment has remained virtually unchanged. But cases delayed more than 90 days have nearly doubled.
So they go through all this rigmarole. They have the hearings. We had a bunch of them. They're chewing people out. They're getting that Poroshenko guy, or whatever his name, the general, who was running the thing. It was a very famous soldier. And I don't know. I tried to do the best I can. And they fire him. And they put in a new guy. And now it's worse.
Maybe they need a little time to reset everything. Or they're just waiting for the veterans to die. Dead man tell no tales.
That was the original intent. Think of the money you can save.
Yeah. What, by letting vets die?
Yeah, just let them, you don't have to care for them. Screw them.
It is sad. It is sad that in this country where we ride around with support our troops and yellow ribbons and that it's actually bullshit. We don't actually do that. That's all moral self-licensing.
Yeah.
I have a bumper sticker. I'm
like crap.
Good to go. I got a bumper sticker. I'm good to go. I think people are even afraid of veterans. I mean, they don't know how to approach
they're all crazy. Portrayed as crazy nut jobs are out there. They know how to use guns. Yeah. They could turn on us.
We got a certification that came through
for us.
No, unfortunately, but it is good for our program, our little broadcast here. Pursuant to the authority vested in the Secretary of State, included under Section 7045E, Department of State, I hereby certify that Haiti is taking steps to hold free and fair parliamentary elections and seat a new Haitian parliament. Is selecting judges in a transparent manner.
We just played shows from 4 years ago. I think we could take a break here.
Instead of that, I got very lucky this weekend.
Kept in the loop with a super duper group of Uber spies.
That's right. That's right.
Official segment.
Yes, I had a driver from Haiti.
I'm on pins and needles.
You should be. Now I'm going to try and do this segment. This isn't the first official segment. I'm sorry.
You're not going to do it with a Haitian accent, I hope.
No, but I will use his Haitian accent because, of course, I recorded it. And I have to say, the iPhone 6, the memo recorder, is pretty good.
It's okay.
I'm just holding that. I'm sitting in the back seat, just kind of pointing it kind of his way. So I think I was very excited by this conversation. And actually, we drove 20 minutes in the wrong direction because I had a road street instead of road.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. We're like almost in Bastrop. I don't know where.
Well, do you want street? Do you want road? Do you want avenue? Or are you looking for boulevard?
Yeah, my mistake. But it was okay because I got 20 minutes with this guy, which I've chopped down into little 20-second segments. Not the whole 20 minutes, obviously. But I learned things. I was able to ask questions that had been bugging me. And so I just started. This is chronologically the way it panned out. I do not.
No other broadcast operation would even think to do this. This is genius.
Not only that, but we did not get permission. He did not sign a release, and he shall go as unnamed.
Unnamed is good.
Yeah. Then let's get it going with just off the bat. And you know me, it's like I'll jump in. You got to get the guy going. You got to throw some facts out there that we know. And then you see and he was 41. He's driving Uber, but he's studying part time to be a medevac nurse, I think, or something like that. Right off the bat, here's where he went with what he found strange of the things happening in his country.
Oh my God, I see him. You know what I find that's funny though? Okay. It's the fact that the Haitian government agrees for Hillary's brother to be in charge
of the mines.
The mine.
Yeah.
There you go. The gold mine. So this is a big topic in Haiti, that Hillary's brother was given the sole, I believe he's the only person to have the rights to export the gold from the mines. So this is bothering the Haitians. And I thought it would, but now we have confirmation. Next, how many people are still living in the tents? What did we think it was, John?
I don't remember our estimates.
You know, I'm asking myself, really?
It's fucked up. So, but how many people are still in tents? 100,000?
Maybe 160,000.
160,000, but all is well in Haiti, ladies and gentlemen. What are they after? Of course, the oil. He says that the oil, the Haitian oil, goes it's so deep and so vast. He says it goes almost all the way to Jamaica, which I'm inclined to believe. But he mentioned something else which I didn't know, and
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But there's another one, and this is you as a chemical engineer will probably appreciate this. I had no idea. It seems to be important.
The oil, the gold mine, and so far they haven't said anything about the sulfur mine.
Now let me the sulfur mine. You said? What's the sulfur mine?
It's somewhere in Port-au-Prince. Actually, we have.
Really? That's also worth a lot.
Yeah.
Sulfur. Is sulfur a big deal? Is that important?
I think we have so much excess sulfur, I can't see how it can be, but I could be wrong. I was a chemist, not a chemical engineer. I took chemical engineering in college.
It's a byproduct of refining, I think.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So for some reason, there's a mine.
I don't know that unless there's a new use for sulfur around the corner someplace, I don't see.
I don't know either, but I thought it was interesting he brought it up.
Okay, well, I'll just keep an eye out.
All right, now we get into my wheelhouse.
Haiti once had an issue with earthquake. That was way back.
Yeah, like 140 years ago or something. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
so I asked him, said, wasn't that strange, that earthquake? That just, never really have an earthquake there, and then you get a really big one?
The way this one happened, some say it was tested and proven to be right.
Yeah.
That it could have been manifested.
Yeah.
We are aware that
I couldn't hear him. What did he say? Could have been what?
Manifested.
Oh, I see. Oh, isn't this on the second half of the show?
Oh, this was in the Uber, man.
We are aware that there are several type of equipment here in the U.S. that can actually bring out
earthquake machine. Yeah, I know. Believe me.
So
Bingo, boom, shakalaka. So he said, "Oh yeah, we all kind of know about the earthquake machine." All right, now a question that has been on my mind about Haiti, and I was finally able to ask this. Sean Penn, is he a good guy or not a good guy?
He's a good guy.
Okay, that's what I'm hoping because I like him.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Now, from the grapevine, you can hear it. A lot of people say he don't believe Clinton
stole the money.
No. That's still it. But he feels the government should have never allowed Hillary's brother to be in control of the mine.
That's no news here, right? No one talks. It's interesting that Sean Penn is now on that train, trying to let everybody know that Hillary's brother got the mine.
Why do you bring up Sean Penn? Because I was cruising the channels and I stopped on the Glenn Beck program, the TV version, not the radio version that's repurposed, but the original. And he went into a big rant about Sean Penn being a good guy. He says he hates his politics. He doesn't like his warming up to Chavez and all the rest. He says, but when Sean Penn goes to feed somebody, because he's one of those, he's a philanthropist that actually goes and does the work
and cooks for people.
And he cooks for people, and he actually does it.
Yeah.
And, he's there on the ground. He's not some guy writing checks.
Correct. And he's building houses and doing other things.
Yeah. He seems to really like Haiti.
Talks about that. No one talks about it.
The U.S. don't even...
I know. I'm telling you, man.
They are saying that it's not just the Clinton family.
The Bush family, too?
Yes.
I know. Because the money
you stop
first went
witness?
Huh?
Can you stop leading the witness? I'm just telling you this for future shows.
Okay. The money first went to Clinton Foundation and the Bush Foundation. That's where the money went first.
And did you guys aware that there were more than $600 million collected for aid?
That's 6 billion.
Dingo, boom, boom, chakalaka, boom, 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 chakalaka, boom, boom. We just need cash.
Now that's better than that's not leading the witness when you correct him,
right?
So I don't want to discourage that.
Okay, you're correct, but I'm also. This is not an expert witness. He's driving a car.
I know.
He's not in the witness stand. He's driving a car. I got to prompt the guy. I got to help him a little bit. Yes, you are correct. Leading the witness.
What you're doing is
leading the witness.
You're keeping yourself from the edit bay. Is what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You don't have to prompt him. You could just edit later, but you won't. I know you hate posts, so I understand it.
Now I think, and we're gonna learn something incredibly new in a moment. But first, the history and the problem with Haiti. And I'm going to lead the witness again, I think, in this. But he's going to tell us what the problem is with Haiti, why Haiti is allowing the citizens to be steamrolled.
See, the problem with Haitians, right? I'm going to say this. And my father, my godfather, these guys, they used to say it. And it started not even with Duvalier, the father, but the son, really. Haitians do not want to unite for greater good of their country.
But they did it against France. You're the only country ever to get rid of the...
All those pure blood is gone.
Because you're the only country in the world that has gotten rid of a colonial power.
Yeah. You see, the main nitty-gritty of it comes down to if you find 10% of the Haitians who want to see better for Haiti, the government here and there will wipe that 10% out. They only need one or two people to...
So what he's saying is...
Okay, Charlie Rose. By the way, how do you come up with this? They're the only country in the world that got rid of a colonial power? Hello? India? The United States? All of Africa?
I'm not a historian. I'm an Uber passenger.
Okay.
Yap them off.
But why don't the Haitians do this? What is it? What went wrong?
Okay. Remember back in the 80s when the U.S. currency and the Haitian currency was equal?
At parity, yes.
Yeah. When Bush Sr. came in power, he said, F no. We owe these guys so much money. For their money to be equal value to our money, let's just kill it.
So they debased the currency, and that's when everyone went broke?
They killed the
economy,
idea
everything.
Of export. Once you only import.
So that was, of course, something we already knew, but good to have a refresher on the history that when the currency was no longer parity with the dollar, they had no way to export and make any money, and now they import everything.
Once a country can only import,
and you guys have to import your fucking rice.
Everything is imported. As far as export good coming out of Haiti, they shut that. You see, we used to have cocoa, sugar, you name it. And now, no more. So, and you know what's funny? If you go in New York alone, you'll find so many millionaire Haitians, you'll lose count. But yet, try to unite about 10 of those guys and say, listen, let's go to Haiti and do what's right.
Right.
They're going to say, hell no, you know what's going to happen. Our family, friends, everybody going to get murdered. Which is the truth.
So if you wanted, he says it twice in this. If you want to change anything in Haiti, you get killed. I mean, the Haitians have turned into a bunch of pussies who do not want to do anything for their country.
Because they're going to get killed.
Yes, because they're going to get killed. Exactly. Here's the future of Haiti.
It's really bad. My old man, he said, you know what, kid, the way Haiti's going, give it about 20, 30 years down the road, it's going to be owned by the U.S. once again, from the get-go. Remember, way back, the U.S. wanted to take over Haiti, just they did to Puerto Rico. Come to realize, hey, you know what?
It's not going to work out.
They might not be as educated as we thought they are, but they will fucking cut our heads, pour our blood, and build another fort out of our blood. Let's do it from bottom up. Meaning, we're going to sneak our way in and start grabbing the intelligent ones and turn them around on our side. And that's what they are doing.
So they're stupid, too, is what he's saying.
There's some intelligent ones, and you put them on the U.S. side. They're the millionaires floating around New York.
And with these new elections coming up, which have just been proclaimed by John F. Kerry, which they're transparent. Everything is good to go. We have a new player on the scene.
Praz is trying to.
This is Praz. Have you heard of Praz? No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't know who it was either until he explained it to me.
Praz is trying to do a lot, and trust me, a lot of people say, hey, you know what? Praz is trying to get in the grace. Praz, the guy who used to be with Radcliffe. Praz, yeah, Pras.
Yeah, I didn't know he was doing.
So this is one of the Fugees. We had Wyclef Jean. You remember he got kicked out because he was on track to become the nominee for president, and he got he's too big for his britches, and he was flying around in the Clinton jet too much, and they got rid of him. And then they brought in sweet Mickey Martelli, another musician, and now there's another guy from the Fugees who's trying to weasel in on the action as well, which I think we'll see maybe in this election.
Oh yeah, he's doing a lot in Haiti right now.
Is he trying to do good stuff?
He's trying, but everybody, even my older brother, he said, this cockroach is just trying to get in good graces with the Haitians, so that way he can run for office, right? My brother said this kid is a cockroach. He's sneaking in just like the others. And the funny thing, till today in Brooklyn, New York, right?
Yeah.
There's a
huge Haitian community.
There is an association called Young Haitian Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And these guys, they did so much when that earthquake happened, but nobody gave a damn to recognize what these dudes.
Right.
So the young Haitian entrepreneurs are actually doing the good work, and no one cares about them. And Praz is a cockroach who's trying to sneak in and get in the good graces, and we should see him running for an election soon. Now, something new that we can learn, health-related, regarding the Zanman. I'm pretty sure you've never heard of the Zanman.
No.
It's a tropical almond. And the Zanman, which doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, if you take the leaves, if you take the leaves of the Zanman and you boil them and you drink tea out of it, it lowers your blood pressure. And it is used as a blood pressure medication or hypertension medication by Haitians. And I was like, okay, fine, witch doctor stuff. And I looked around and I found the National Institute of Health.gov, a study, Definitive and Management of Hypertension Among Haitian Immigrants, a qualitative study. And what they found is that immigrants in the United States from Haiti all had hypertension, high blood pressure. And they looked at a number of hypotheses as to why this could be. Obviously, your family may be back home in Haiti, living in a tent, pooping out cholera. That might give you some hypertension, but maybe just the idea that you're in a different country. But one of the things they found in the study is that the Haitians did not have access to the Zanman leaf, which they use to make tea, and then it reduces hypertension. So it's a natural product. Guess what happened?
Zaman it has a almond seed inside of it, where you can eat also. It's the leaves that they use for high blood pressure. You drink the tea. When Pfizer found out about it, so they went to Haiti and hired all these farmers to cultivate enough, and then for some reason, some people say, others deny it, some agrees with it, that now those new plant that's growing right now is actually worth nothing.
I don't know if you could hear that, but he's saying that Pfizer came in when they heard about this plant, this tree, and they hired all the farmers, cultivated all the plants. Pfizer, of course, makes what is the blood pressure?
The Lipitor. I don't know if it's Lipitor. It's one of them. There's all those.
Lipitor.
Any one of the number of them.
And then after they were done, and whatever was left or replanted, those plants don't work anymore. And the theory here is they took all the good plants and stuck them with some genetically modified crap that doesn't work anymore.
Why would you do something like that to a country? A poor freaking third world country. Clem?
Hold on a second. Your people are brown. It's no good. We are experts at killing brown people. But you don't live in the sand. You see, if you're in the Middle East, it's easier for the drones.
I just wanted to see if I could make him laugh about his skin color. So this Zanman, I think, it's Zanmann. A very interesting plant. Yeah, I knew you would be searching for it.
Well, there's actually a Zanman.org, which has been taken down for some reason. So I guess
by
it was
Pfizer.
interesting a while ago, and then it's not interesting anymore.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I'm not buying that conspiracy nonsense that Pfizer came in and then screwed them. They haven't even studied the thing before. I mean, after they studied it, maybe.
Well, they have
Whatever
studied
the
it.
case, I think is a possibility. Just looking at the logic of it, even though this sort of analysis is dubious, because it's a reverse. And now you're pushing. There's a certain word for this.
He said I didn't start with the Pfizer thing. He started.
No,
with it.
yeah. Still, Pfizer is evil.
I didn't
Whatever
say
the case
Pfizer.
is it possible that Zanman, because and they wouldn't destroy something like this because from the sounds of it, if these guys all come over here with high blood pressure, all of them, and then they relied on Zanman, is it possible that you get, it's like a vitamin C where you get scurvy once you stop taking it?
There is something in the research paper, and this is written in kind of Creole, whatever they speak there. Oh, I can take medicine, leaf, Zanman, leaf. I have my garden outside. Whenever I need, I just go outside. I take and boil them. When I'm done drinking these leaves, I pee a lot. It lowers my blood pressure. The leaf, it lowers the blood pressure more than the pill. Now they're talking about the Lipitor they're being given here. You can get addicted to the pill. You keep taking the pill the doctor gave you, but it's not good for your intestines. When you stop taking the pill, you feel very sick. So here are people who were feeling fine for whether it's placebo or whatever it is. They were feeling fine, and then they were put on the Lipitor or whatever medication. It's not specified, and they feel that they get hooked on it, and they don't feel good. They get side effects. We all know the side effects of these pills.
Yeah,
anal leakage. Yeah, imagine you're from
hey, what happened?
Haiti. And all of a sudden, anal leakage is popping out. This is no good.
Well, that's interesting. Whatever the case, Zanman, yeah. Well, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. And then
you learned something.
Yes. Well, I learned a lot of things. I learned about the Haitians being dumb and cowardly, which he's pissed off about because they get killed if they try to do anything.
That's the way, yeah.
We have a new guy.
Works.
We have a new guy to look out for, Pras, and we should be seeing him popping up in the run up to these elections. Another musician from the same group. We learned about Zanman, and this was the only really conspiratorial thing about the Clintons, which I don't believe this.
The thing is, there's so many people in Haiti right now with hundred of pages of dossier against Clinton, the young crew back there that's robbing the gold.
Who?
Hillary's
brother, yeah.
Clinton brother-in-law, and nobody can bring those documents up here yet, but they're trying to funnel it through messages and email.
All right. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, because that's so
sure.
hard.
Sure.
It's impossible to get it into the United States. They try to maybe sneak it in through email.
I preface this.
It's called an attachment.
I preface this by saying that was conspiratorial.
Yeah, no, I understand.
The thing I did like is when I said Hillary's brother, he categorically says Clinton's brother-in-law. See, they don't even view Hillary as a player over there. It's all Bill. It's all about Bill.
Notice that.
Yeah. He keeps saying it. Yeah, the brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of good.
We would talk about.
Thus spoke the Uber driver.
There you go.
You're kept in the loop with a super duper group of Uber spies.
There you go.
It's a good segment. It needs to be worked on.
And it's the first time. And I tried to do another segment on the way home. And this guy I didn't even get into the whole conversation. We got sideswiped by another car. So
what?
Yeah. And I just gotten through the other guys like, oh, but I love this car. I was like, yeah, this is nice. Audi A6, I think. Yeah, that's a very nice car. I love Audis. I can't afford them anymore, but I love them. And
some guy hit you?
Some lady. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Asian chick in one of those Toyota Jeeps. Yeah, just moved over to the right, swiped right into us.
Huh. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Nothing.
Did I tell my stories about my 2 cab accidents in New York City?
No.
Well, the only one that was interesting was I'm coming out of JFK in a brand new cab, and it's a Russian driver, and I didn't think to interview him, but it's this Russian driver, and we're coming to a stop sign. Somebody plows into him. He goes back and looks at it actually wasn't much damage, but it was like a ding or something in his bumper.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm thinking to myself, I just got here. Now I'm going to have to deal with this. But no, turns out the cabbie goes over to the guy who's behind there with his window closed. And he's kind of looking at this big Russian guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes him a kick. He's got these big boots on, and he kicks a huge dent in the guy's door.
As one does, yes.
And then he gets back in the cab. He says, "Now we're even," and we drive into the town. That was it.
Well, there you go. That's justice. Here in Texas, we are very polite. I'm sorry, I hate you. I'm so sorry. Because you don't know what someone's packing.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
It was a Toyota FJ Cruiser which sideswiped us.
Oh, okay.
I like when people in the chat room go, "There's no such thing as that. There's no Toyota Jeep." Okay.
There's no Toyota Jeep?
It doesn't matter.
There's a Toyota Jeep.
I'm not going to argue.
They have a bunch of 4x4 drive cars.
Mm-hmm.
They have one that looks almost like a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this newer one that looks like kind of a gumball thing.
I'm just not going to argue.
Which I rented once. It's kind of cool looking. And Vin roomy. And 4-wheel drive, too. You can off-road it. You can off-road these Toyotas. I don't know who in the chat room, they don't know what they're talking about. Probably something to do with citric acid, vitamin C.
Weed. They smoke too much weed in the chat room. That place is a health hazard. You can get a contact high just from watching that thing. You gotta be careful about that. And with that, John, maybe I should just say, I want to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where I have nothing. Dvorak.
Wow. Now you got me stunned. I've been expecting the one-liners on the middle initial. Anyway, in the morning to you, Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all the ships at sea and all the boots on the ground and all the feet in the air and the subs in the water and all the dames in the nights out there.
In the morning.
It doesn't rhyme anymore.
In the morning to the smoky chat room, listening live at the stream, noagendastream.com. In the morning to our artistes who always are somehow able to pull great album art out of their collective rear ends. Jay Young did the art for us. This was a good one. This was the show 7-Eleven. And he took the 7-Eleven logo of a big, I guess the Big Gulp cup, and incorporated it into the No Agenda logo. And I think we immediately said, yes, this is it. Nice piece.
It was thoughtful, creative. I don't know. It had all the elements we were looking for, which sometimes are hard to explain. But the artists all know. And I'm sure when Martin JJ, Nick DeRat, any of our regulars who keep coming in, there's a bunch of other ones, obviously. And when they do one that is a known, they can tell themselves, I've done it.
Nailed it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I know they try it out in the chat room sometimes. Hey, take a look at this, which I think is where they get distracted, where they're trying to, get some consensus or something, what people think. And then, you know the chat room.
Yeah,
room. They make mistakes. That's great, Nick. And then, of course, we don't choose it because it's not the right one.
Well, I think they should have a kind of a Deadpool in the chat room, and who art can actually make it.
Now, this program,
they can have betting. Let's thank a few people for show 712.
Let's do that.
Stephen Berkowitz in Pembroke Pines, Florida, $359.30. Adam and John. Stephen B. in South Florida again, just helping fill that cute little kitten's donation bowl while making my way to knighthood. Here's some pie, 31415, and a late happy birthday, right. 4515. So this is a pie. So he's asking for a
Fletcher Fest.
Fletcher shout.
Can I play
a mac and cheese?
I'm sorry. No, I was going to play the Fletchers that we have from last show.
Let's play them right at the end of this little segment.
Okay.
Could I get a mac and cheese LGY and some awesome No Agenda Karma? It really works. We're still doing the Fletcher. If we're still doing the Fletcher shouts, yes, we are. Can I get a Dr. B Thanks from FEMA Region 4.
A Dr. B?
Dr. B. Dr. B. I don't know.
I have no
Dr.
idea.
B.
I have no idea what that is, John.
Berkowitz. He's a doctor.
Oh, for him. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the jingles. I'm like, somewhere there must be a jingle
No, he
called
wants
Dr.
Fletcher to do a Dr. B.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Wow. All right. That was okay. Gotcha. So he wants a LGY. I'm not sure where our LGY kid is. I've been trying. Here we go. I've been trying out some new things with the jingle machine.
Living the mac and cheese life.
Mac and Cheese by Ayn Rand.
Yay!
There we go.
You've got karma.
Karma. There we go.
What are you doing different? You reorged? You did a reorg.
Yeah, here's what I've done, since you ask. I typically had 3 different windows open, Finder windows on the Mac, with jingles, evergreens, and currents. And now I finally was able to customize the Spotlight search on OS X, which I typically hate, just because, especially when it's indexing, it just craps your computer for a long time. But anyway, I spent 12 hours over the weekend letting it index everything, and now I can just search for, with some luck, search for whatever I'm looking for just by typing it in, and it will only pick up MP3s or whatever other audio format there is, AACs or even WAV files. And so that should make it easier.
So what do? You got little girl Yay, which everyone always refers to as the same way, which is LGY.
Yeah, but I know from experience that it is Yay. Y.
So it's just Yay. So you type in Yay. What do you get? There has to be a lot of Yays.
No, I type in YAH and I get...
That's Ya, by the way.
Oh, man.
Yay is Y-A-Y.
Let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you get enough sleep?
No.
I knew you were...
But YAH, you said. I have to correct you. I can't let that go.
I know what it's called. Okay, I'm going to change it. Right now, I'm going to change this jingle. I'm going to change the name to LGY so I can never find it again.
You'll find it.
Fine.
Marky Boy's coming in here.
So what time did you go to sleep?
I went to sleep, I don't know. Marky Boy, 3:33. It was the night before where I didn't get enough sleep. It's really not last night. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to catch up. You can't catch up on sleep.
Would you mind not catching up on the show?
Marky Boy on Bradenton, Florida, 3:33. Longtime listener since episode 68. So I'd call that, there's a name for that, Paleolithic era. Mainly 1111 donor. People who don't donate are heartless wankers.
Yes.
Calling out Ian, for being a douchebag. This may be enough for a nighting, but I'm too drunk to add. Keep up the great work, Marky.
Let me see. I think we have one nighting today. I don't know if it's...
We do have one. He's not listening.
No, it's not him. So
we'll do some work and find out.
Keep drinking. You're on the right path.
Keep drinking it. Keep taking a shot at it.
You're on the
Ryan
right path.
Jones in Quantico, Virginia, 3:14:15. This is another John Fletcher yell out. Thanks can be given to Sir who's ever of cyberspace. If possible, I'd love a John Fletcher to yell cyber as a ringtone.
All right. It's noted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down to associate executive producers with Sir Wire of the Hidden Jewel, also known as James Pyers in Escondido, California, $228.11. ITM, John and Adam, a minor recommendation to approve an already amazing show. My dad is a no-agenda guy at heart, but he has a hard time with the show as a newcomer. He told me he does not understand all the inside baseball. Well, don't give him today's show. And so he lost interest.
It happens.
The way I see these two guys are boring.
Yeah.
My suggestion is that during the show, we can't do that. The show is a piece of performance art. It goes the way it goes. It could be boring. It could be lively at the beginning, boring in the middle. It could be never boring. It could be all boring. You just have to, he's got to have faith. That's the thing. My suggestion is that during a show, a little time is dedicated each week to explaining the background of No Agenda in the spirit of show 200.5 and 6. I have an idea.
Okay.
Have him listen to show 200.5 and 6.
Yeah.
Actually, 0.6 covers most of 200.5, so don't Just that's good enough. Old-timers love your stories and explanations, and the newcomers might be more likely to stay engaged if they understand some of the background history. And then to interrupt him, I would also say that old-timers might be bored stiff if we keep repeating what's obvious to them.
Yeah.
Maybe, and we rely on them more than we rely on newcomers. We just hope for the best with them. Maybe just a few minutes each show is all it would take.
No, I think you should direct every newcomer to the chat room. They will be very helpful.
We'll never get any new listeners.
No.
Jeez, what a sick thing to tell people. Although, I suppose if you went in, I've done this, I've been in chat rooms like this. You go in there and you ask questions, and if you're lucky, one sane, helpful person will actually help you.
Right before you get kicked off.
Well, I don't think our guys kick off that much.
No,
am I
that's
wrong?
true. No, only you. When you come in, that's when.
Yeah, I went in the chat room once, and I got immediately tossed.
Now, do you see how I did that? By now explain some legacy of the show as to why you're cranky about the chat room.
That is part of the problem, yes. Anyway, old-timers love your stories and explanations, and newcomers might stay engaged. Maybe a few minutes. I thought John's recent comments regarding Jim Rome's Jungle audience was relevant in the above context. Yes, it's
true. That's true. I agree.
It's kind of true. Your research, observation, science, and wit keep me on my toes, and the fact that you two enjoy making the show as much as we enjoy listening, it's unique. So I guess it is, if you think about it. So thanks to both of you for your courage. Please extend happy birthday wishes to my son, EJ, No Agenda listener, who is 11 on the 12th.
Yep, we'll get
11 on the 12th, 11 on the 12th.
Yep.
Karma and Mac and Cheese Life in Melonhead clip for EJ, and some job karma for me. Rack him. This was a Jim Rome.
Okay. See, I didn't know.
Have it taken, don't suck. Another one. Oh, sorry, wrong show. Sir Wire of the Hidden Jewel, a.k.a. Jim Pyers Escondido.
See, he's asking for a John Kerry. We don't have anything from Melonhead Kerry that won't make you cry.
I believe we don't.
Oh.
I don't remember a jingle or any sort of a clip of Melonhead.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think so. So we're skipping that.
Yeah, then I'll just do the mac and cheese. That's okay.
Living the mac and cheese life.
Mac and Cheese by Ayn Rand.
You've got karma.
There you go. Good.
All right. And happy birthday. Dave Bozeman in Wilmington, North Carolina, $200 to George and Ira Gershwin of podcasting. Today's episode about vocal frying made me get back on track with my donations. I was so happy to hear that it wasn't just me that was annoyed by this trend. I wonder if young women have adopted the Valley Girl vocal fry speak, which is the combo, which we played earlier, as a sort of self-defense mechanism to keep older people away from them. Well, that's possible. It works. I'm a 50-something-year-old yogi and sometimes have the pleasure of being around beautiful 20-something yoga women. I'm, of course, visually attracted, but when I hear most of them speak, I'm repulsed. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Works. Like to hear the clippity-clopping, a.k.a. Monty Python, not lady pantsuit, my way to knighthood. Thank you for keeping me sane-ish. Not sure what I get for $200, but read all or nothing. And if I get a jingle, I miss Reverend Al.
Well, first of all, to reiterate, we have a policy here. If you're an executive producer or you are an associate executive producer, we thank you more around the beginning of the show, and we read as much of your note as we can, or as you want. That's kind of the policy. He misses Reverend Al. We played Reverend Al earlier, but of course,
The message is clear.
Just clippity-clop.
You've got karma. Amen. Fist bump.
No, not to correct you, but he specifically didn't want the pantsuit clippity-clop.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then what does he want? There's no clippity-clop a la Monty Python.
I thought we had the Bring Out Your Dead clip or something like that. I think that's so lost that I don't think...
You mean what she says, we came, we saw, we killed him?
No, he's talking about No, he said Monty Python. Did he say Monty Python?
Yeah, but what Monty Python is he thinking about?
I think to bring out your dead. It was a clip we played a long time ago. I think it was the one he's talking about, where the guy's clipping along in a cart, and he's yelling, "Bring out your dead."
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't even remember from the movie?
No.
Huh. All right. Well,
which one? The Holy Grail?
All those three movies, The Life of Brian, Holy Grail, and the other one, they all, to me, run together as one movie. So
I only have one clip that is outside of the Clippity Clop.
Okay.
And you may sing along, John, if you know the words.
Sit on my face and tell me that you love me. I'll sit on your face and tell me I love you too.
And I'll put it in the show notes. You can listen to the rest later.
Okay, yeah. A crazy song.
It's a great song.
All right, here we go. James Graham in Fairfield, Connecticut, $200. I need karma. For over a year now, we've been requesting real estate karma. We thought it was working. This morning, we found out that the seller never scheduled inspections for the work they did.
No.
And the inspector won't be around until after our closing date.
Oh, no.
And by the way, this is a problem everywhere. Inspectors, if people want a good job, you want a lifetime employment, become a building inspector. It's good money. You get good retirement benefits, and you just don't. You do it when you feel like it. Anyway, he says we can't close. Arg. So I'm doubling down on a lucky episode, even though you've already started recording. Happy birthday to my husband, Craig. Oh, we have to put him down. I'm sure he's not listed.
Nope, I got him now.
Happy birthday to my husband, Craig, who I'm still madly in love with, despite having a cursed apartment complete with a hate couch instead of a love seat. Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's Jamie.
All right.
Okay. Onward to us.
That's it?
Give her a karma. She wants a karma. That's what.
Absolutely.
Big ass karma coming your way now.
You've got karma.
I think I understand now what the Monty Python. I believe that Dave, who wanted Monty Python, maybe he thinks that when you just send in a note that I could make a clip, I'm downloading a movie and clipping out the relevant bits. I have no other idea why we've never played anything like that.
I think that was played.
Okay. Oh, we do have one more here. I see one more associate executive producer.
Yes, Sir Christopher Dolan, who wrote in nothing, and I don't see any email from him, but he's constantly helping. From Brookline, Massachusetts, that's $200. Thank you, Chris.
Are you sure we didn't get a note? I'll just double check.
I looked, I couldn't find it.
Okay, all right.
Unless he uses a different name when he sends email.
Okay, I don't see it either. A couple of PR mentions, just brief. Actually, not even PR mentions, just something I wanted to mention. First of all, karma to Fletcher. By the way, someone ran a red light and banged up his Jetta. So I wanted to give him some car de-denting karma.
You've got karma.
And I also want to thank Bill Hudeck, who has created an automatic backup recording system for the best podcast in the universe, it's really, I asked him to send me some details on how he made it. He's even going to fit this whole thing onto a Raspberry Pi, so you can just have a little card. You get the SD card, he'll pre-burn them, and anyone can then become a backup recording device for the show. But you could also use it for other streamed podcasts. I think it's kind of cool.
Sounds like a good device to spy on people.
Yes, John, that's exactly what I was thinking. No, it's a fine.
Let me hook this up to your machine.
All right. We will be doing another show on Thursday. We'll be thanking everybody else in our thank you segment a bit later on in the program. And these credits, the executive producer and associate executive producer credits, are real ones, unlike the phonies in Hollywood. We'll be very happy to vouch for you.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Now, everybody can always do the simple task of going out there and propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Amen. Fist bump.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Yo, yo, yo.
The other thing since we seem to be in an explanatory mode, falling into the idea of giving people backgrounders on stuff, since the website, actually the wiki page should cover most of this. People should go to the No Agenda Show wiki page, just the Wikipedia. Is like the hitting him with the mouth thing. Last we had the show, I read from the card the other day, and in there it says my husband hit me in the mouth, or I finally hit my husband in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
About the show, Mimi was reading. She's going through the mail, and she said she's going to read the card. What was this from? And so she's reading this thing, and she says, "What is?" She said, "Is the guy a wife beater? I don't understand."
Nice.
No. I said, "Oh, you've heard the show." But I guess that thing that we play, that little ditty right there, where it says our job is to hit people in the mouth, which has become a kind of a meme for turning people onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
I had to actually explain it to her, even though I know she's listened to hundreds of shows.
Yeah, the first 100.
Yes.
Then she quit.
True. She hasn't listened to a show. Here's what it is.
But she comes off as very authoritative on Facebook in the No Agenda group. Like she knows everything. Yeah.
Now it goes like this. The iTunes thing doesn't work. I can't download from iTunes.
Yeah.
She still uses an iPod.
Uh-huh.
And I said, why don't you use your phone? She says, it doesn't work. Nothing works.
Yeah.
I get the sense that sometimes operator errors involved.
Well, yeah, of course, it's between
iTunes does suck. I don't understand why somebody hasn't topped it.
Well, because it's become an integral part of. Well, they're trying to move it away. The App Store, they moved that out, and you used to get all your apps there, and they're trying, but it's a horrible piece of code that is just legacy that they're going to have to get rid of one day.
It was horrible from the get-go. And how many years has it been?
Yeah, since the iPod came out, the first one, I think. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Oh, here's the Fletcher Fest jingles. These are from Thursday's show.
Anonymous.
That's a great one. That can obviously be used for many people. Here's my next one.
Ed Mofo in charge. Gilbert.
And then
Matt Bosch.
Can we get the one that says where he yells the internet?
Yeah, we got that a while ago, I think.
Oh, I missed it. Now, do you post these on the show notes?
No, I haven't done that yet.
You're going to post them as one large file, maybe?
Internet!
There you go. Okay. Well, we have to hit the cutoff date. Then I'm going to publish all of them so that everyone can grab them, but also hopefully some of our mixers, our musicality mixers, our musical directors. Greg Fillinganes, everybody, musical director for the best podcast in the universe, can put together a cool little track.
Okay, well, I've got something for them then.
Okay.
And in fact, I have it for anyone who wants to put together a medley of Hillary clips. This is a small selection. I know there's more. Like he died, he walked, whatever it is. He came, he went, he died.
I know where you got this. You didn't put this together yourself.
No, I didn't put it together. I pulled it from the television.
Mm-hmm. From the television.
Yeah.
The telly?
Yeah, this gets funny. They're in color now.
Oh, wow. High def.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not, yeah. Anyway, this is the Hillary medley of clips that I would recommend people help and expand.
The great story here for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. Landing under sniper fire. There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base. The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? Woo! What difference at this point does it make? We came out of the White House not only dead broke, but in debt. We had no money when we got there, and we struggled to, piece together the resources for mortgages, for houses, for Chelsea's education. It was not easy.
Now, you'll put this in the show notes so people can get it without the stuff in the middle.
Yeah. Well, that was nice.
I recommend people get. By the way, that last bit reminds me of something we talked about on the show, and it is another thing that everyone forgets about Hillary. When they left the White House broke, they were stealing furniture. You remember that? Yeah,
I do remember this. I do remember
and moaning about a bunch of furniture was being carted out of the White House. I like that chair. Let's take it home.
I do remember. Let me see if I can find this. If it's still, I remember that story. You know, there's some things that pop up, and you say, "Oh my God, I've completely forgotten about that." And there's a lot of things, not even that long ago, just a couple months ago. Things.
That's
things
the
pop
nature
up.
of the news cycle. We forget.
It really is.
We're one of the few shows that actually tries to remind people.
Yeah, no matter how tough it is.
Ourselves.
So Hillary has still not declared, I guess is the proper term.
She's supposed to be declaring as we speak.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, Willie Nelson died again, too. So, anything can happen.
He died again?
Yeah, this Willie Nelson dead hoax keeps popping up. Yeah.
Well, you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, you absolutely can. If I could find
it. I should be monitoring one of the networks or something because, she's supposed to be.
You can take that to the bank.
She is you're practicing.
Mm-hmm.
She is supposed to be announcing on social media. She's not going to do it on any comedy show or anything. And she's got a produced video. So that she's going to announce on Twitter or Facebook, and then the video comes out and you link to it and you watch her on your computer going on and on about how great she is.
John, it looks like it's happening right now, live.
Hey now, y'all. Can we just get real? Do we really?
She's announcing on social media, John. Here she is.
Deal. Said another.
Maybe I shouldn't do it.
Oh, I don't know why.
That we lost our way.
Yeah.
Social's about the people, remember? We are people. Do we really need another like, fan, or share? Do we need another post to show up everywhere? I hope as we scatter that we never forget that our posts live forever, even when we go to bed.
Everybody now.
So connect with me. Let's have some fun.
Maybe this will cheer you up.
Show the world how this gets done.
Woo! Let's get social.
Social media. Let's get social. With social media.
Woo! You want more, or can I cut it?
No, I think.
Thank you.
I would normally, yes, but
you're in such
you've
a
been
bad
playing
mood.
it so much. I think some people probably don't like it.
Rand
Although
Paul.
I can't see how. I had that song ringing in my ears recently.
I know. That's why. That's what people.
It's a very catchy tune.
Yes,
even off key.
It's super, super catchy. Makes me want to put on a Leonard Cohen record and jump in the bathtub with a toaster, pretty much. But Elizabeth Warren, not running, but everywhere promoting her book. And is it possible that maybe she?
Don't forget, this is not really her book. This is the paperback.
It's the paperback of the book. I know. Is it possible that she is vying for Debbie Wasserman Schultz's job to be to run the Democrat Party? That's what I'm
done by a congressperson as opposed to a senator.
Really? Is that a rule? It doesn't make much sense.
Well, or either somebody outside that's just a party hack. I'd never seen a senator do it. I don't think, unless somebody can correct me. Oh, let's see if the chat room knows.
Shut up. Shut up. Rand Paul has declared, son of Ron Paul, and I was a big Ron Paul supporter in the 2008 cycle, and then the 2012 cycle. And actually, we interviewed, or I interviewed Ron Paul. We put it on the show. That was one of our earlier episodes, I think.
Yes.
And I asked him if he was a folder or a scruncher, and that kind of ended the interview, if you'll recall.
Yeah, you have a way of doing that.
Yeah,
kind
I do.
Of thing.
Yeah. Rand Paul, his son, has announced, and it's kind of weird, or maybe weird is not the right way. That's a weak word to use, but it's confusing to me where we have the neocons, which everyone bitches about, and they want to rubbleize everything. And then Rand Paul comes in and he's like, I don't want to rubbleize everything. But then everyone's talking about him being a horrible rubbleizer because he's a Republican, or he's with the Republican Party. I don't think anybody knows anymore who's on what side and who is behind these strategies. And then we had, what is the Krauthammer? And he wrote
Charles Krauthammer.
Yeah, he wrote something or said something nasty about Rand Paul, and he was asked
he's a
about
rebelizer.
Krauthammer.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. It makes sense that he's a rebelizer. Really? He seems like such a nice guy.
He seemed like a logical, it was like him and George Will were the two kind of superstar writer Republican conservatives for a long time. And then Krauthammer became more and more, a Putin hater, a rebelizer. We got to do this. ISIS is going to kill us.
We need to hit on blind people and a couple more categories before we end
I'm just saying that's the only excuse I can see from changing his mind. And then so he gets into beefs now with the other guy, and the two of them. I don't know. Krauthammer, I've lost. I used to think is one of the best.
I used to like him a lot until he starts talking.
But now he's just an apologist for the rebelizers.
I'm shocked to find out that rebelization's going on here.
I mean, here's Rand Paul. I'm the only show that'll probably let him talk a little bit on Fox with Megyn Kelly. And it turns out Rand Paul is pussy. Just a pussy. He won't call people out.
If you look at who's closest to President Obama on foreign policy, it would be the people who have supported his policies, like the war in Libya. And I think the neocons, both in our party, have been very close to President Obama on all of these issues. The only place that they have differed is in degrees. I've been the one who opposed the war in Libya. I was the one opposed to Obama bombing in Assad when the beginning of the Syrian conflict.
Notice how he says Obama bombing Assad. That's pretty interesting.
Conflict began. I was the one opposed to Obama's arming of the Syrian rebels, of the Islamic rebels. See, the neocons have been in favor of all of these things, and they're actually much closer to President Obama than I am.
Is he a neocon?
I've opposed
Is Charles
President Obama on almost every major foreign policy. Well, I would say that Charles on this issue is incorrect. And the thing is, we can have an honest disagreement.
I'm just trying to understand who you mean, because you've been saying a lot about neocons. And who are they? In your mind, who are they? What section of the Republican Party do you mean?
It's more of a philosophy.
Is it like Bill Kristol?
It's more of
Lindsey Graham?
It's more of a philosophy, and they will know when you talk about them. They will know who they are. The reason I don't choose to bring up names is I don't want to make this about personalities.
You pussy. You big pussy.
You're right. I had this clip, and I didn't use it because I thought it was stupid, but I now realize that I noticed this too. When he was talking, he wouldn't name names. And Bill Kristol, yes, he could have said yes.
Absolutely.
He could have, when he said Lindsey Graham, he could have said yes. It doesn't take. So in other words, he's going to run a campaign on innuendo.
Yeah.
That's what she should have asked him. So everything's innuendo with you. They'll know who I'm talking about.
Well, let me name a few. So it's Robert Kagan, his brother Fred Kagan, and of course, who was there in Ukraine handing out pretzels, donuts, cookies, cakes, whatever it was.
Noodleman.
Victoria Noodleman. We know her as Newland, and she is married to Robert Kagan. And that's exactly what she said on the phone. Fuck the EU. Because they're neocons. Or they're now called neoliberals. What is it now?
Neoliberal's different.
Okay, it's still neocon. And President Obama himself says he recognizes and appreciates the input from the Kagans, specifically the same people who took us into Iraq with Bush. And this was a great opportunity for Ron Paul to say.
Don't forget, there's also Paul Wolfowitz. He goes in there too, and he shows up. Now I have that was the dumb clips that I believe that was done on Wednesday or Thursday. That interview
could be.
And so Megyn Kelly comes back on with somebody else, and she actually defends Ron Paul a lot because everyone accused him of being a sexist. Because he was
and a racist. Isn't he a racist and a sexist? And
obviously a racist.
Yeah. Hello.
And
Buddha.
But here's Meg Kelly, and I just cracked up because we actually today's a pretty low donation day, and she's getting millions of dollars. And she uses the word irregardless. Can you imagine?
Who was doing this to him in the interview. And if you watch the whole thing, she didn't give him a lot of opportunity to respond. And he just lost his patience because he was irritated by the interviewer, irrespective of gender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Megyn. That is incorrect.
But I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But from that same long clip, I have a sub clip that, again, I guess I'm being flippant on the show today.
You think?
But I have a sub clip that I think could go into the evergreen pile because it has an interesting, talking about innuendo. This has a kind of it has a funny meaning.
Because she was doing this to him in the interview.
That's all I got.
Let me hear it again.
She was doing this to him in the interview.
Okay. All right. Well, that didn't go over. I can tell.
No, I didn't quite understand what you were trying.
It seemed funnier at the time when I was.
Maybe if you see the video, it's funnier.
Well, yeah, that would be useful, I guess. Okay.
But it's not going into.
Not go into.
No, we'll not go into the evergreen.
The last we'll ever hear of it.
Now, Joe Biden still, of course, thinks that he's a contender.
Well, that brings up a point.
Okay.
Everybody, if you watch any of these shows, nobody mentions anybody running against Hillary.
Well, we know, but all they say is Warren is not running.
They say Warren's not running, and then Hillary's going to just get it somehow.
And Joe's running, and you know what Joe does? I love Joe. I would like to see him as president, quite honestly. That would be so fun for the show. It may be a little dangerous, but it's fun for the show. So President Obama is off in, I think, is he still in Jamaica? He's probably already gone. He left Caribcom.
Wasn't he in Panama last week?
Panama, he was in, yeah, maybe he went on to, I don't know. But he didn't do his podcast.
Oh.
And, when the president can't do his podcast, here's what we get.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Biden, and I'm here filling in for President Obama, who's traveling abroad.
He actually thinks it's a show.
I've taken over the show.
But this is what you say when you're on the radio. Hey, everybody, it's Adam Curry here, filling in for the president who's on the road. You're filling in.
He said filling in?
He said filling in. Hey, everybody, it's Joe Biden here. Captain Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Biden, and I'm here filling in for President Obama.
And we got Bubba the Love Sponge out on prize patrol. I'm Joe Biden, filling in for President Obama. I just think it's cute.
Well, I was watching Hannity, who I believe, if Hillary gets elected president, will be murdered.
Oh, really?
I just think so, because he is such a tub thumper for the Bushes. Pretty much.
Do you think Hannity will get murdered?
I think so.
SeanHannity.com, by the way, is where you want to go.
Well, hopefully they won't make the connection. Whatever the case, here's a piece he did on Hillary's temper on his show like yesterday.
Okay, Hillary's temper.
So much has been made. I'll ask both of you this about Hillary's temper. Let's go to Gail Sheehy's book. And she described her temper in the book Hillary's Choices as, quote, she is angry, not all of the time, but most of the time. Then we go to former Clinton spokesperson Dee Dee Myers, and she said, Mrs. Clinton got really angry. She attacked George, meaning George Stephanopoulos, and anybody that stood up and tried to say that was a bad idea, was smashed down, belittled, very personally. And I mean, where I said that the president didn't really attack people personally, Mrs. Clinton sometimes did. And not only would she sort of humiliate you in front of your colleagues or whoever happened to be around, Hillary tended to be the kind of would run a campaign against the people, behind their back, and that was certainly my experience. And one more, George Stephanopoulos himself. She just jumped down my throat and basically said, you never believed in us, you never stood for us. We were all alone in New Hampshire, and it was fierce and chilling. And I was kind of stunned. It was the most hurtful thing I thought that she could say, especially in front of all of my colleagues at the time. So much has been made this week about Rand Paul and Frickley and in interviews with Savannah Guthrie. Right. This sounds like an angry woman.
This is an undertone of lesbianism. That's what I'm hearing from him. Angry lesbian.
I wonder about this. We've heard from other sources when you were taking your trips back in the Hot Pockets tour and other people about Hillary being kind of
the Secret Service hated her.
The Secret Service hated her. They talk about a little bit this in this clip. And I don't know if this clip, but at least in this segment. Mm-hmm. And she is an angry woman, and maybe she is an angry lesbian. I'm glad to play this clip right now is because you a second ago said Joe Biden would be a funny president, but maybe dangerous. This woman sounds to me to be the dangerous choice because
that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
You're right.
Let's finish this clip and see where it heads.
It is an angry woman, and recently when she heard about the Jeffrey Epstein matter and the Orgy Island,
Orgy Island,
went
nice.
barreling into Bill Clinton's office in Chappaqua, took her hand and cleaned off his desk, wiping off everything, including his Chihuly sculptures, furious at him, and practically killed him. I mean, she has this terrible anger.
You know her.
I do know her.
Right. Isn't one of her? She's a mediocre politician. Let's be honest. She doesn't have the skills, the political skills that Bill Clinton has.
Sure.
What about this temper? How bad is it?
I'll put it in personal terms, Sean.
Okay.
I was invited to play a significant role in the 2008 presidential election. I chose to pass on that, and I've never had any regrets. She is a talented woman. She's a smart woman, but she is not somebody I would want to associate my political career with, even though I will vote for her, and I hope be able to vote enthusiastically.
I'll try and convince you otherwise.
I know you will.
Rebecca, how big an issue is it if that temper issue really... this is only 3 examples. I have dozens more of people saying the same thing on the record. How big...
This is a long clip, John. Is there more? Does it have a big payoff?
No, it's just a bunch of anecdotes. You can kill it if you don't like it.
The temper is an issue, especially because she has a long history of distrust of the press. She is suspicious of the press and our motives, and that makes it hard for her to sit for an interview and seem happy and relatable. But it's also a larger problem of, can she seem relatable when she's interacting with voters? And this is why she's not a great campaigner. It's very forced for her.
All right. You know, but this is... You know what? Sean Hannity, if they murder him, it'll be a positive. It'll be a positive. I'm from the future. Here's the meeting. The meeting about Hannity. Here's the meeting.
Darren's a good kid. Stand-up guy just like his own man. That's the way I see him.
I agree. He's solid. A fucking Marine.
He's okay. He always was. Ringo, what do you think?
Look, why take a chance? At least that's the way I feel about it.
That's right.
Okay, you're using that little search engine of yours.
Yeah.
So you're not paying attention to the show.
How could I? I fell asleep. I fell asleep during the Hannity clip. How can I pay attention to the show?
Yeah, it's good stuff. And here's what's going to happen. The smart media, I don't think everybody likes her. The smart media is going to try to needle her
into doing to get her to blow up. Yes, blow up.
Don't you think?
I don't think they can do it. She is skilled, man. She's skilled.
She blew up in front of that hearing when she yelled, "What difference does it make?"
Yeah.
That was borderline nuts. She's pounding. You should look at that clip again, video. She's pounding her fist. She's pounding her fist and yelling, "What difference does it make?"
I agree, but that was not the media. That was on C-SPAN.
What difference at this point does it make?
You know?
Well, maybe, but if she can...
It was on the Hill.
Set on C-SPAN in a congressional hearing where she should know better. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun to watch.
Oh, for sure.
But Hannity's a goner.
Yeah. I can't watch him. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just annoying. I don't care what he has to say. I don't care about his guests. It's all fake and set up. And I just think to myself, that guy's making a lot of money for being a douche.
He's making a lot of money, but I don't know how much, but lots.
Not exactly.
Somehow I don't understand how his radio show manages to be number. I think it's number 2.
It's just clearance. It's just how many stations you get, man. It's just the number of stations. There's a show. The guy's name is Craig James, and he is from the Family Research Council, which is religious.
It's a religious pressure group.
Yeah, anti-abortion, but certainly that's one of their main things. I'm sure they're all about religious freedom. I just thought this was a funny clip. I don't listen to this, but someone alerted me to this segment on Craig James's show. He gets a call, and this is what the caller says.
I know this is going to sound off in left field, but if you Google Pentagon gay bomb, and it comes up an article by the BBC, which basically said that the Pentagon was using certain chemicals and aphrodisiacs to spray and to put on the soldiers where they'd be attracted to other men as a weapon in war times. My question is, and I wonder, did some of those same techniques get used on the American people? Just a thought. But the article's out there.
Did you get your gay bomb yet? And this is
now you can explain that this is explaining your constant wariness of chemtrails.
Yes, exactly. They're making us all gay. Yeah, the BBC did indeed run an article. It's in the show notes.
Another crazy, stupid idea from the government. Army, wasting the taxpayers' money.
The U.S. military investigated a gay bomb, which would make enemy soldiers sexually irresistible to each other. I'm thinking this is a great product. How can we get a hold of this chemical?
I'm not going to use it.
The gay bomb. That's fantastic. But that's the kind of stuff that goes on like terrestrial radio. How sad is that?
Yeah,
and by the way,
we just did a story on it.
I got a note from Tranny Lucille. This was sad. I'm going to quote from this. I should do Adam's email because this is one of those notes, John. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, one of those notes where someone says something horrible to me.
Oh, they said something horrible to you about
Adam's gonna read his email.
I've heard that thing for a while. Oh, you're just doing random searches and coming up with stuff. You're going, oh, I forgot all about that one.
Girl, you're such a viper. Always pretending to be on the LGBT side. Here's how you roll. John, I'm a bi-curious, as you know, but my flower brothers and Leslie sisters should all be arrested. So this guy was arrested because he killed a bunch of homos. Gay brothers and sisters, you're being manipulated. I'm disappointed. You say you're bi-curious just to license your hate speech, Curry. The truth is you're not gay or even a yestergay. You're actually a heady, a misogynist, a homophobic, and a Republican. And that's where I get pissed off, people. You can call me anything you want.
The punchline to that reading is Republican?
Do not call me a Republican. You can deny it, but just listen to yourself. Shame on you, Curry. That was hurtful.
Yeah. Well, I think you have your the gay crusader.
Well, okay.
I think you have to have some judge of this sort of accusation that's a neutral party. Either say, well, a little bit, or well, no, not at all, or this is bull crap. It has to. So the third party has to come in and make a judgment call on the validity of this complaint.
I copied Brian, the gay crusader, on my reply, and he sent a very lovely note back, which is
a lovely note.
I'm not going to read it all, but I will put it in the show notes. And that I'm an ally. An ally, I tell you. A true ally that will advocate for equality and also shine a light on issues that impact LGBT community the mainstream media does not report. Exactly.
There you go. I would say that's true.
Yeah.
I think you're snide about a lot of it, but I think that's the way that's an ally. I think that's fine. If you're an ally, you're an ally. You don't have to be a lockstep Nazi ally.
No, of course not.
Where you do everything everyone tells you to do. You can do it any way you want.
Yes.
This reminds me of something else, but I can't think of what it is. All right, I got one here. So the elites came.
I think it's time to talk about the 6-week cycle. Really, I think we need to. Slide right into that.
Cycle.
I have a backgrounder because there's two guys, not just one. Two guys.
Well, I have the two guys clip.
Okay, where's the two guys clip? Does it say two guys clip?
I wish it did.
It says what?
It says something about.
I don't see it.
See, I got too many clips. I need that little spot, that new tool of yours.
No, it's a Mac. You can't use that tool. Shall I just play my backgrounder then? And then we'll look for yours.
I'll play mine if I have to.
Within the past 3 hours, a second person charged in an alleged terror plot to kill U.S. soldiers at Fort Riley. Late today, federal prosecutors said the second man helped John Booker Jr. Investigators say Alexander Blair shared extremist views with Booker. The criminal complaint also says Blair loaned Booker money and says Blair told Booker not to talk about the plot publicly so he wouldn't get caught. Prosecutors charged Blair with failing to report a felony. If convicted, he faces 3 years in prison. Despite wanting to die in the attack, prosecutors say Booker had a plan to get his message out.
Today's threat was real.
It's
real! And Booker was fully committed to his plan.
A plan prosecutors say he was in the final stages of putting together.
It's alleged that he told another individual
that detonating a suicide bomb was his number one aspiration.
A deadly ambition allegedly inspired by ISIS.
He repeatedly stated his desire to engage in violent jihad on behalf of the Islamic State of Iraq, otherwise known as ISIL.
But investigators say his death wouldn't have silenced him, adding Booker put together a martyr video.
And he said he wanted members of the public whose sons and daughters were members of the military, that he wanted to get their loved ones out of the military immediately. He said because the Islamic State is coming for them.
So that was the news today. The bomb material prosecutors say Booker assembled was inert, meaning it was not capable of exploding. The FBI says we can all learn from today's arrest. Kansas City's top agent says this situation highlights why we all need to report suspicious behavior.
Woo! Now more than ever, we must remain vigilant. We must continue to work with our law enforcement
and rat on each other
partners, and we must rely on you, the community at large, to be attentive and to report suspicious activity.
As for what's next, the FBI says it's still conducting search warrants related to this case. Meanwhile, today, a court put Booker in the custody of the U.S. Marshal Service pending his trial, and if convicted, Booker faces life in prison.
Now, this is one of the most disgusting examples we've had of the 6-week cycle of the FBI.
Oh, well, before you go, I want to play my intro clip still.
Okay.
Because it's shorter and a little more to the point. And this is the clip. It's called Booker Case Expanded.
A second man has been charged in connection with that alleged foiled plot to set off a car bomb at an Army base in Kansas. Alexander Blair was charged with failing to report a felony. If convicted, he could face up to 3 years imprisonment. Authorities claim he knew of John Booker's plans to plant the bomb in an effort to kill as many soldiers as possible at Fort Riley. Booker was arrested yesterday in an FBI sting operation. A Muslim cleric said today Booker is mentally ill.
Boom.
Okay. Yes.
That was PBS, and
they got the mentally ill bit in there. Thank goodness.
Yeah, somebody did.
So in March of 2014, Booker, and now the John T. Booker, which I don't know, why did they just say Thomas? Why was it T? Normally we have the full name. It's always 3 names. John T. Booker.
I think it's a Booker T and the MGs.
Yeah, Booker T. Washington. Exactly. Booker T. and the MGs. He checked himself voluntarily into a mental facility in March of 2014. Then he came out, he was in the ROTC program, so he went to have his interview, and he was denied service. And the FBI sat him down, talked with him, had a whole conversation, and went, hey, Bill.
You have an idea.
Bill, this guy's fucking nuts. I got an idea. Like, hey,
that's nuts.
You want a gold star? I know.
This one is going to be a lot easier.
Let's make this guy do it for us. So I got the criminal complaint, and I read it too. Yeah, did you see anything? I saw a couple things I found interesting. Was there anything that you...
Nothing that stood out. It looked like a standard setup.
Mm-hmm.
They had the 2 guys that were FBI guys urging him to do this and that, and then telling him to, they did everything but finance the whole thing.
Yeah, they had this other guy didn't finance the bomb, but he financed the shed, which is why and actually there's something interesting about him with his 3 years, etc. But so after he came out of the facility in March 2014, that's when the guy starts posting crazy stuff on Facebook, like getting ready to be killed in jihad is a huge adrenaline rush. Yeah, okay. FBI, you need to take children like this because he's 20. He's a child. He's younger than my kid. You need to take them and get them help instead of exploiting them for your own budgets and for your own, I guess, ego. It's truly, truly disgusting and disturbing. It is sick. So here's October 8, 2014, and we have confidential human source, CHS-1, who then starts to engage him. And he even says that he even says to the CHS-1 at that point, I've talked to the FBI before, but here's my favorite. On or about February 3rd, 2015, during a conversation with the undercover agent, CHS-1, Booker made reference to a video called The Flames of War. So let's just put in that bogus, highly Hollywood-produced video of the guy burning in a cage, which he could have pushed over, but he didn't. Who burns with his hands in the air, not all crouched over in a fetal position. So we now give more validity to the video. And then he talks about a video, and there's another undercover informant, CHS2. So there's like two undercover people. He had watched a video by an American Syrian suicide bomber called Jihadi Joe, and he wanted to. Yes.
And by the way, if anybody out there has ever been sold an insurance policy they didn't want to buy, or a car they really didn't want to buy, or anything like that, we're assuming at least that we're dealing with super salesmen. Super salesmen, if you've ever run into them, and everyone has, can sell anything, and they do an outstanding job of it. Mm-hmm. And when you have somebody that's lame-brained or a borderline moron, you could really sell them pretty much anything you want.
Well, allow me
skills.
Allow me to give you an example. The spam email that we spoke about just before we started the show, which is this magical cure to hearing loss, which wasn't who discovered this? The Aborigines or the
Amish?
The Amish. I'm sorry.
And they've kept it a secret.
So I think most people have received this spam because even you got it and you don't get spam. People fall for this. People fall for the Nigerian princess thing. People are stupid. So yeah, it's easy. And then they brought in a second guy who said,
the closer.
He said, hey, man, it's not safe to store things at your house, because you share it with your cousin. So at this point, CHS2, means Undercover Human Resource 2, suggests Booker may want to rent a storage locker. Oh, man. Okay, so he gets the storage locker. Then they tell him to go, buy some stuff. Actually, what is he? They don't even say what it was, but they say they purchased stuff to construct bombs, and they had a second storage unit for that. And he was going to make a VBIED, a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. I've never heard this is a new term. Maybe it's been
around. They make up new terms.
I hadn't heard that. And so then they say, "Oh, drive to Fort Riley," and they go to the utility gate, and then they say, "Okay, press the button," and then of course nothing happens, and they arrest him and take the kid, stupid, sad-ass kid, to jail. And then we have this Alexander E. Blair again. Why not the full middle name? This is new. Normally we have the full middle name. And he's been arrested, and the complaint against him is having knowledge of the actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States, namely attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction in violation of 18 U.S. Code. We know a weapon of mass destruction can actually be an M80 firecracker that qualifies as a weapon of mass destruction. And he attempted to provision of material support to a foreign terrorist organization. No, he gave the kid some money to rent the shed or whatever, where he hid the storage unit. Thank you. But now, of course, that's material support to a foreign terrorist organization. What is interesting is that he is being charged under misprision. Is it misprision of a felony? I think that's how you pronounce it.
I have no idea what that word is.
Well, I looked it up. It's MISPRISION. Misprision of a felony was an offense under the common law of England and was classified as a misdemeanor. And it's pretty much been done away with everywhere except in the United States, where it is still, under federal law, misprision of felony is an offense. Here it is. Whoever having knowledge of the actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States conceals and does not as soon as possible make known the same to some judge or other person in civil or military authority under the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. And the fine is defined as $500 or 3 years in prison, up no more than 3 years in prison or both. But this, I find this to be... this is more frightening to me than getting the nut job and making him press a button. So this is a guy
that they're slipping this. This is legalizing, forcing to see something, say something.
Yes, because if you don't say
if you see something, say something,
you can be arrested and convicted of misprision of felony.
It's a felony too.
But yes.
So you can't even make a judgment. So this other guys. Knowing the guy's nuts, this just second person who got arrested for this act of silence, shutting up, which is, by the way, as far as I know, is constitutional. You can't testify.
Well,
but whatever.
If you're aware, here's the trick word is commission. So was he commissioning a felony by renting the storage locker and putting materials in there that could be made into a bomb? Is that actually a commission of the felony of blowing up?
Maybe he's a hobbyist. I'm not buying any of this. I mean, the idea, if you get, okay, I got a next door neighbor who's crazy. Is always babbling about something. Let's say I don't have one, but I could. Always babbling about something. Oh, the government sucks. We should blow up the Golden Gate Bridge. And if you saying, I don't know, the government sucks. I'm going to blow up Treasure Island. You know, whatever. And this goes on. Am I supposed to call the cops every day? Hey, hello?
Yes.
My next door neighbor says he's going to blow up the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes.
I've done my job. Bye. My neighbor says he's going to blow up Goat Island. Okay.
Well, let's.
So the FBI is soliciting millions of phone calls of every random active threat of anything.
Yes. This is why we have the fusion centers. This is exactly what they're intended for. But you can also tell your educator or your spiritual leader, they've all been read in, they've all been clued in, everybody is on board with the program. Let's take your example. Whoever, having knowledge of the actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States, I think blowing up the Golden Gate Bridge would be recognized as a felony. If you conceal it and do not as soon as possible make known the same to a judge or other person in civil or military authority, you shall be fined or imprisoned. And the entire universe has removed this misprision from their law books, except for the United States. I think it's a tricky one.
Well, it looks like a dragnet. It looks like one of those convenience laws. You know, let's get this guy. Yeah. Let's get, we've become a Soviet Union style of government where you are breaking the law constantly. When you go to Russia for the first time, I went there during the Soviet era. My favorite thing was that there's like a phony border where when you step over this line, you're now in Russia, and the other one, you're kind of still protected by international laws at the airport. And it's against the law at the time. This is, again, pre-Gorbachev or whatever. Or I guess it's during Gorbachev when he was still Soviet Union. At the time, it was illegal, even though everybody took souvenirs, to take any Russian money out of the country.
That's right. No ruble. I had the same when I was there in 1988.
You couldn't do it. But the curious thing was, technically, the luggage carts were on the other side of the line, and they were out of the country. So to use the luggage cart, you had to insert a ruble. So you had to illegally obtain a ruble to go past this embarkation line and put it in a machine to get a luggage cart. So you immediately broke the law the first minute you show up in Russia.
Right.
We have set ourselves up in this country to have law. Everything you do is against the law. In some way, shape, or form. So if you're targeted,
you're done.
All they have to do is follow you around for a couple of days.
You're done.
Probably commit 10 crimes.
You're done. That's all you need. Second most emailed feedback from the previous program, ICD-10.
Oh, yeah.
Now, these are the new codes, or the ICD-10 is the new version of the internationally recognized codes for all these different ailments, which are attached to your electronic health record, known as EHR, sometimes EMR, medical record. This, of course, falls squarely into the dude named Ben territory, since dude named Ben, or administrators, systems administrators, the IT guys, they are tasked with this. It's an entire IT project, and so we got a lot of feedback on that, and I'd like to share a couple of them. The first one would be, now we have one of our dudes named Ben sent me an overview, which I've put entirely, of course I've removed anything identifying about him. He has the whole thing, everything, the history, how messed up it is in hospitals where nothing talks to each other. They have downtime. They have hospital systems going down for 10, 20 hours at a time in order to implement these types of systems, and everyone has to go back to paper. It drives everybody nuts. The medication cabinets are unlocked during this.
This is a great letter.
It is fantastic. It's really,
read it.
really detailed. Well, yeah, people should read it in the show notes, really.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't mean they should be reading it this moment.
No. And I think, just knowing it's really messed up. And it seems that it is really not helping at all. I did get a couple of new crazy codes from people. So these are the different things that can ail you that will be attached to your personal record in perpetuity. Yeah, in perpetuity, and put on the web and connected to the internet. Here's a couple of crazy ones that popped up. V97.33XD, sucked into jet engine subsequent encounter. That seems like a medical issue. Accidental striking against or bumped into by another person. This can be on your health record. Pedestrian on foot injured in collision with roller skater. That is VOO.01XD. Activities involved arts and handcraft. If you were wounded during, with a glue gun or a knitting needle, there's a code for it. Dependence on enabling machines and devices not elsewhere classified. This is interesting. You know what this could be? This could be a social media or your iPhone. This is going to be a big one. 12.Z9er9er.89.
Would that mean somebody threw an iPhone, hit you in the head?
No.
Does that count?
No. It's
probably a different code.
It's a dependent. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, we have swimming pool of prison as place of occurrence of the external cause, and there probably should be a hot tub code somewhere. Lid closed on hot tub. Other superficial bite of other specified part of neck. Okay. Struck by duck. That is W61.62XD. Problems in relationship with in-laws. This is no longer a medical profile. This is a profile of who you are. Other contact with cow. I wonder what if I couldn't find the initial
bestiality. Hello.
yeah. There you go. So a lot of people sending in crazy
There's
codes.
a bunch of these. There's thousands of them.
Yeah,
and it's ludicrous.
16,000 actually. 16,
so if you go into the doctor and you happen to mention that my mother-in-law, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. It goes into your medical record.
Yeah, that's right. That on your
How
record.
Does that work?
You would have record Z63.1.
In fact, of course, the joke of this is not implementable unless the doctor's out to get you, because no doctor is going to put any of this stuff in. They haven't got time. They don't have enough time to talk to you, and so none of it's going to be reported unless you have a bad doctor.
Well,
a good doctor's not going to do this.
We had a note from dude named Ben.
He's going to spend all his time in the office with you looking this stuff up.
A note from Jack, known as dude named Ben. Adam, you mentioned ICD-10 in the last show. Although hospital billing is very boring, I thought a couple things were interesting during my time in the industry. I used to work for a company that you could call the ICD search engine. Doctors just enter and search, and the diagnosis pops back with the appropriate code. He says about 80% of all doctors use this ICD code search engine. But of course, that means that all that data is in a search engine somewhere. A huge search engine.
We should look up, we should get a hold of that somewhere, getting access to the search engine.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Just look up various things, whiskey.
And the reason why I think you're incorrect, doctors need to have this because otherwise, particularly with Medicaid and Medicare, you don't get paid. So this is the whole thing. If you don't if your hospital or your practice does not have the ICD-10 codes implemented by October 15th, you no longer will be reimbursed by Medicaid, Medicare. You won't be reimbursed as a physician.
I questioned this analysis.
Well, what do you mean? It's true.
No, it's not true.
That if you don't have
No, here's what you're claiming is true. I go to see my doctor. I'm now, they're billing whoever, my insurance company, Medicare, whatever I am. I go see the doctor. Now I'm on the clock for the visit. And it's based on a certain amount of time. He tells me, okay, you're fine. Let me check your this, whatever he does. He checks a bunch of things and sends you on your way, gives you a prescription. he's not going to get any more money by putting in the code that says that I hate my mother-in-law or anything.
That's not what I'm saying, John. Stop. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying two different things. One, if your hospital or practice has not implemented the new codes, there'll be different codes. So you'll have whatever you said, even if the mother-in-law is not in there, the code is now different. New codes.
Yeah, okay. I didn't say that's not the case.
That's what I said. And you said,
well, I'm talking about the doctor being a fink and putting all this crap in you.
If he's going to prescribe something to you and he wants to get paid for prescribing you, he has to attach a code to it.
Yeah, I've got asthma, let's say.
Okay, so then he'll go and he'll type in asthma.
Yeah, but he's not going to type in all this miscellaneous information. No. This is what I'm talking about. All this bull.
You're insane.
Not going to be put in.
Okay, you come in and we have to qualify that visit, and you say, "I'm not feeling good. What's the problem?" Well, I have this. I'm angry about something. I'm addicted to myself. I keep looking at myself. Whatever it is, he needs to get paid for that visit. If you're fine, I don't think there's a code for he's fine, needed nothing. Certainly not if he's prescribing something. So you
still get paid for the visit.
You have to have a code, otherwise you don't get paid for the visit.
I don't believe this is true. I think the visit itself is a code. Going to the doctor is a code.
Yes.
So in other words, what you're saying is that some healthy person who's a hypochondriac, well, I guess there's a code
there you go. There's a code for hypochondriac. Of course there is.
But that's not the same as prying into your personal life and putting all this data in there.
No, but there's a search engine for it. So you just put in, is on social media too much, is angry at his mother-in-law. You got two codes now.
They won't put it in.
In the search engine?
No, the doctor's no doctor in his right mind, at least a decent doctor who knows his patient, is going to put in all these personal details into the box just because he can and just because there's a search engine. You can spend the whole day putting stuff in.
I don't think you're right. If you have preventative care, he wants to prescribe you something. This is how the system works. We need to keep you on the system.
I don't have a doctor like that.
No, you don't. Okay,
he doesn't
you don't.
want to prescribe me something.
You don't. You don't. No, you don't. But if you're prescribing something, that needs a code.
Sure. Asthma medicine.
Wheezing. Yes, but we know that people are the industry is built on keeping people on pills. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of bad doctors out there.
Yes. So I do think that the search engine, and not only I can only tell you what our audience, what our producer says. Oh, how about, there's just so many things that can be prescribed, but all you need is a code, and you can do so much more now with all these codes. You think that doctors, I don't want to get reimbursed. I don't want to prescribe more. I don't want to get any money. Of course they do.
I don't believe what you're saying is even remotely true.
Okay.
They're not getting more. If you spend an hour at the doctor's office, they're not getting more money because they prescribed something. Why would they?
Okay, neither of us know enough about
they just go nuts and they'd be prescribing millions of things. If there's any,
have you seen children today? They are on Ritalin, they're on Adderall, they're on Prozac. Yes, they're going nuts, and every single prescription needs a code.
The scandal in the medical community is that they're getting paid. They're getting paid by the drug companies directly for all spiffing. It's not like they write up 1 million prescriptions. If everybody got more money from the government, let's say, for writing more prescriptions, they would be writing more prescriptions to everyone.
And that is exactly what's happening.
Oh, bull.
Okay.
Well, it's not happening. In fact, there's a huge prohibition against writing too many prescriptions for painkillers, for example, in the state of California.
Mm-hmm.
They go after you. Everyone has to go to Florida to get their pain medications from phony doctors.
Our producer, Angela from Vegas. As a former billing instructor, I can confirm every procedure requires an ICD-9. The procedure codes are CPT codes. A doctor visit is a CPT code, requires an ICD-9, soon to be ICD-10. ICD-10 qualify the liability of the cost of the visit, whether it's insurance or a third party. These codes are key. This is the whole industry is built on this. Doctor office, everything has an ICD-10 code applied to it, and there's just going to be more so they can bill more. I'm sorry, I think you're incorrect on this.
Well, let's have some doctors. We have doctors who listen.
No. We only have dentists. Well, we do have a lot. The guys who couldn't take the real test. Yeah.
Thank you, dentist.
I'm just kidding.
Hopefully, we'll see you sometime in the future.
They know.
Let's. Here's the question: if your patient comes in and you take 1 million of these idiotic codes that have to do with his personal life, like, oh, he doesn't like his mother, he doesn't like he's got a sore knee, he got hit by a baseball, he had a broken arm when he was a kid, he has, trouble, a million things. You write every one of them down. And you take example 2, where you write down, he came in, he has a cold, I looked him over, I gave him told him to take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning.
Yeah, but stop right there. Stop.
You're saying that the first situation with all these codes gets the doctor more money.
Oh, yes. Your mistake you're making is that doctors say, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. Now, each visit level has different criteria. So you go, even just talking to the nurse at reception, all of these things are related. And the higher you go, the more billings you make, the more you are making as a doctor with reimbursements.
These are not billings. It's not a billing.
Yes, these are billing codes.
Like your mother-in-law is not a billing.
The ICD code. The ICD code is a billing code. Yes, it is a code that. So if you are going,
let's just take the one example. You've got.
Why are you so? I don't understand.
Because it's bullcrap what you're saying. That's why. You're making it sound as though...
Tell me what I'm saying, and then tell me what I'm saying. What am I saying?
You're saying that the more codes you put in a patient's record, the more money you get.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I say you're saying. That's what I've been trying to say.
And you say that's bullcrap.
I say that's bullcrap.
Let that be the question that shall be answered. I believe the more codes you put in, which means more treatment, the more reimbursement comes to the facility, the doctor, etc. Yes.
The doctor. We're talking about the doctors.
Yes.
It's the doctor's best interest to put in all these codes that are many miscellaneous codes, like you don't like your mother-in-law.
Would you agree with me that it is in the medical and the pharmaceutical industry's best interest to keep you coming back, and that there is pretty much no longer a scenario in the world where we say, we've cured you, goodbye?
What's that got to do with the question? Nothing.
Because you get more.
I'm not going to go in that direction. We have one simple question to answer.
Okay.
Do you get more money by putting a lot of codes in the same meeting? You have one meeting, 1 hour. Well, 1 hour. Give me a break. You got a 20-minute visit with your doctor. One doctor tells you to take 2 aspirin. The other doctor writes 1 million miscellaneous codes about your whole life. That you're saying the second doctor who writes all the codes down gets more money. That's the question, not some philosophical crap you're trying to bring into the conversation.
That's the question. And you're saying that's not true. You're saying that if you do not receive more than one diagnostic code, the ICD-9 code, which means you could be treated for each one with the CPT code, as Angela just told us, that there's not going to be more money. Of course there is. So it behooves to have more diagnosis. And you can always throw in hates his mother-in-law. That's free money right there.
But that's the question right there.
That's the question.
You put down, you get more money for saying for putting down that he hates his mother-in-law. That's not the case. There's no way. If that's the case, I can't eat the book, but that is not. I would like to see some backup on that. This is just prying for the purposes of government spying and snooping.
No. It will be misused for that because it's now available and connectable to people, of course. But I do not believe these codes were made for prying and snooping on people.
Well, maybe the question is already answered in the chat room by the many doctors who are in there.
No, there are a lot of pissed off dentists in the chat room right now, actually.
Well, that's different.
Well, we'll see.
All right. Well, meanwhile, I've got here's the future of cyber. You might like this clip. This is the clip. Yeah, this needs no setup or explanation. I'm reminded of Ted Kaczynski.
Oh, really? Are you now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
This is the CSU cyber clip from the Mad Bomber.
Hands up! Drop it! Stop it! FBI, hands up! Stop right there! Drop
Drop it! Drop it! I will blow us all to hell.
You don't want to do that. There are children next door.
Shut your mouth. I swear. People have to know the truth, and I'm going to be the one to show them the truth.
They're going to know the truth, and you're going to show them, and I'm going to help. What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Miles Jensen.
Miles, I'm Elijah. Why don't you...
People have to know that we are a society addicted to technology, to social media. No one sees it. We don't see it. I'm the only one who's paying attention to what we become.
Well, you've got our attention, Miles, and you've got a point. But you need to put down that detonator before we...
Don't tell me what to do. I'm in control here, not you. These people need to be stopped, and I am the only one who can do it. They didn't listen before. But they're gonna listen now.
I'm listening to you, Miles. I'm listening to you right now. And I'm telling you, if you let that bomb you linked to the website go off, nobody is going to care what you have to say. Tell me where the bomb is. And we can...
Too late!
It's not too late.
It is too late!
Put down the detonator.
You shouldn't have come here.
Miles, stay with me, all right?
Now I have to take you all with me.
No. Miles? Miles, look at me.
You think they're gonna listen now?
Stay with me, Miles!
Woo! He's dead.
Wow.
What an exciting show.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I don't like...
Oh, sorry. Interesting.
Well, anyway.
Well, I'm still reeling here, John. I can't believe that you're on the side of the government on this. That's very strange and somewhat appalling, actually.
I'm apparently also on the side of bad acting.
Yeah, well, that's why we're still waiting for your bit part to come in. It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I've never made that connection.
Yes.
I don't like knowing something I can't do anything about.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
You know what, people? There are very few media outlets who care so much about your health and how you are treated in the system as the No Agenda Show. We are willing to go to bat and fight each other over it.
Who's collecting these Leo clips for you?
Leo. He sends them to me.
Send a batch in every once in a while.
Say, hey, man, you haven't mentioned me on the show recently, so send me something.
Zachary Gilbrick, we want to thank him for on the show, which is in Cordova, Tennessee. These are our good over $50 donors. 12345, one of my favorites. He says, a belated happy birthday to John. Tom Sealer in London, UK, $111.11. Something we don't see a lot of anymore.
111.11. No, we don't.
Which is kind of disappointing. Crocutta Computer Services in Pacifica, California, 100. Bill Hudick in Timonium. I just love the name of that town.
Timonium.
I've got some Timonium in my pocket. Timonium, Maryland, $100. Anthony Cuzella in Lost Wages, Nevada, $58.78. Anonymous Paul in Rochester, New York. He got some karma for you at the end. Mm-hmm. Sir Greg Stone, Rapid City, South Dakota, double nickels on the dime. Eric Osnes in Lawndale, California, $55.10, double nickels on the dime. Michael Schlesinger in Macomb, Michigan, double nickels on the dime. Ksenia Tishu.
I think it's Ksenia
Teshutina in Brooklyn, New York. Should be pronounced in some Russian manner. It's 53.58. She says today $1 equals 53.58 Russian rubles. If it strengthens more, my donation will not get mentioned.
Because you'd be below 50.
Sir, yeah, well, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Sir Kevin Payne in Richmond, Virginia, 50.69. Andrew Walker in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He says he saw the newsletter and got real excited for Sunday's show, which reminds me, we do have to revisit one thing about the bomber. Andrew Walker in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I just said. Max Turnquist in Boston, Massachusetts, 50. The rest of these are 50. We don't have a lot today, actually.
Well, you know what? We didn't have enough ICD-10 codes to hand out. So
Joseph Gavasio in Jersey City, New Jersey. Sean Zinmeister in San Francisco, California. Jakub Wojciak, I think. in North Vancouver, BC. I should look that one up. Brian Matthews in Balbriggan, Dublin, Ireland. County Dublin in Ireland. Balbriggan. I like the name of that town.
Balbriggan.
Paul Vella in Milton Keynes. Antonio McMullen, parts unknown. John Strag in San Antonio, Texas, right up the road from you. And finally, Carol Garrett in Eureka, Kansas. Wow. Sir Mark Tanner in Whittier, California rounds it off. Thank you, Mark.
He's always there.
And everyone else who came in.
Yes, and we had a note from Sir Rod Adams, which I need to bring.
Oh, yes. You solicited this note.
No, I didn't. I don't think I did. Did we solicit this?
Well, you solicited a note.
We have.
You said we're going to ask him something.
No, I didn't ask this. We had a knighting on Thursday's show, Knight of 10 CFR 50 Appendix B. You recall that title of the knighthood?
Yeah, and I looked it up too.
I didn't look it up, but Rod said, I had to stop mid-show to say hello to Knight of the 10 CFR 50 Appendix B. That is the section of federal regulations that defines the measures required in a nuclear qualified quality assurance program.
Right.
He says he didn't think many producers had heard that as a call-out.
Well, they have.
They did now, yeah. Atomic Insights is where you can find Sir Rod's information. And that's it. This was not a super duper day.
No,
Sundays are hard.
Sundays are usually rough, and then everyone's lost their mojo. There's no, the numbers show 700 is passed and birthdays are over.
Yeah.
70s.
Just look at yourself. How do you feel today?
I feel crappy.
Yeah.
That's why.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Let's give everybody a big dose of karma, okay?
You've got
There
karma.
we go. Thank you very much. Remember us for Thursday's show. James Pyer said happy birthday to his son, EJ. Turns 11 today. Happy birthday, EJ. And Jamie Graham says happy birthday to her husband, Craig. And we say the same to both of you from all your friends here at the best podcast in the universe. And then we do have Anonymous Paul, who will be knighted today. Do you have your blade somewhere near?
Yeah, here it is.
Okay. Luckily we got that. Anonymous Paul, come on up, man. Thank you very much for your contributions to the best podcast in the universe. You help us produce this program, and therefore we welcome you into the round table of the Knights and Dames, and I hereby pronosticate thee, Sir Paul from Horseheads, Order of Pugner. For you, my friend, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Bad Science and Perky Breasts, Malted Barley and Hops, Puppies and Taylor's Vintage Port, Cuban Cigars, Single Malt Scotch, Hot Librarians and Jaeger Bombs, Opium and Warm Orange Juice, Vodka and Vanilla, Bong Hits and Bourbon, Sparkling Cider and Escorts, and obviously Mutton and Mead. And go to noagendanation.com/rings. We have everything there for you. You'll be registered. I think it was broken. Eric, fix it again. If not, shoot us an email. We will hook you up. We'll hook you up, brother. Indoctrination of children in schools.
First, I want to revisit what the theory was in the newsletter, which we didn't discuss really, which is there's been a cluster of 6-week cycle events. They don't do one anymore. Do we have to remember Comey's now the guy?
Yeah, Comey, he is a super elite former board member from HSBC during the time of the money laundering and the price fixing on interest rates. And of course, he put Martha Stewart in jail. Let us remember this big man, put Martha Stewart in jail. Big man. Good. Woo. Impressed with you.
Well, she obviously was not a customer of the bank. So here's a rundown of the threats. These all kind of came within and I think the new theory, I'm positing, which I hate that word, but I'm going to use it, this thesis that the 6-week cycle is still valid, but instead of having a major event that is like, people lose interest in, or they see it as, none of these big events have worked to achieve anything. And now it's the theme that I'm seeing with.
I'm sorry, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you say achieve anything, the initial analysis, the only thing it's meant to achieve is validation, so the budgets continue.
No, that's an element, but to make it a big to do thing like this, what's the name of the school they shot everyone up supposedly?
Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook is for gun control. It didn't have any effect.
Right.
And none of this seems to have any effect except the budget thing. But if we're going to do these, hell with that. Let's change our theory. We'll do a lot of little events, and we'll get the budget, because we may even get more money the way they're doing these. We'll get a good budget, and we'll also promote something which will increase. See, the other thing about, like, the Sarnoff brothers, they can increase the budget for just the general stuff, but they can't do what they can do if you have a lot of homegrown terror. You can make the budget even bigger, because you can't do anything about terrorists that are being trained overseas in Pakistan or in
fact, we don't even do anything. We see them go, we watch them come back, and then we're just tracking them. There's nothing there. There's no
money to be spent.
No money.
So now it seems that every single one of these events has the same.
And by the way, taking the terrorists out of the country is no longer FBI's jurisdiction.
Right, which is another thing. There's no money in that. So you keep them in the country, you make them homegrown terrorists, you blame the internet for everything, which we got to do a cyber thing. We need a cyber general. And so the FBI will be all over cyber as much as everybody's over it. Because they can spend all day checking their Facebook status. That's good use of the government time. And so but we have to do a lot of little ones to make it look like we got homegrown terrorism is a huge plague. And here's the rundown of the ones before this guy. They all took place within a framework that you could call 6-week cycle. And this is the NBC rundown of the threats all about homegrown terror.
Tonight, there are concerns about homegrown terror in this country, what appears to be a growing number of Americans looking to join the terror group ISIS. The latest case involves a Philadelphia mother of 2. NBC's Ron Allen has our report.
Kiana Thomas stood in court, only her eyes visible. The 30-year-old Philadelphia mother of 2, accused of planning to travel to Turkey, then Syria, willing to fight and die for ISIS. That would be amazing. A girl can only wish, she allegedly messaged an ISIS fighter. Thomas, whose home displayed American flags, had purchased an airline ticket days before her arrest, according to prosecutors. But now she's among at least 25 Americans charged with supporting ISIS.
How dangerous is what we've been seeing, do you think?
I think that you can't answer that question, how dangerous it is. I would say that there's a heightened level of attention by the authorities. I think what they're really trying to say is there's a danger and we're paying attention to it.
Earlier in the week, Noel Valencias, 28, and Asia Siddiqui, 31, faced a New York judge, the 2 women accused of plotting to build bombs in the U.S. Court documents say Valencias told an undercover FBI agent she didn't understand why people were traveling overseas to wage jihad when there were more opportunities of pleasing Allah in the United States.
It's a scary feeling. Yeah, especially when you have children, it's a scary feeling.
Court papers say their homes contain gas tanks, a pressure cooker, recipes for bomb making, and that Valencias had been obsessed with pressure cookers since the Boston Marathon attacks in 2013.
I know it's a serious case, but we're going to fight it out in court.
Thursday, authorities indicted an Army National Guard soldier and his cousin for allegedly supporting ISIS. Guard specialist Hassan Edmonds arrested as he was about to board a plane from Chicago bound for the Middle East. And Jonas Edmonds, accused of planning to attack a military facility using his cousin's uniform as a disguise. Relatives have spoken out against the allegations. As the U.S.-led coalition launched more airstrikes against ISIS today, the battle continues against new recruits here at home. Ron Allen, NBC News, New York.
Now, this sort of report is like hectic. It makes it sound like all hell's breaking loose, even though these things are all dubious. Now, the 2 things about the report, of course, you busted these guys for giving them the anarchist cookbook, and then now they're reporting that they had it.
And the pressure cooker was something she was talking about cooking food in, which of course is now code for explosives. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but I think that was outstanding, that reading. But the first part, there was one thing in here that was just a little baffling. At the very beginning, they had some woman, and the report said, you can play the first part of this.
I'll play it again. Tonight, there are concerns about homegrown terror in this country, what appears to be a growing number of Americans looking to join the terror group ISIS. The latest case involves a Philadelphia mother of 2. NBC's Ron Allen has our report.
Kiana Thomas stood in court, only her eyes visible. The 30-year-old.
She stood in court with the thing on. Only her eye. What kind of a court allows a defendant to stand there with a mask on. It's like, could I go to court and wear like a Nixon mask or something and stand there?
Well,
and get away with it?
This is where the religious freedom becomes very interesting. And this is the dichotomy that certainly liberals have. The problem is, on one hand, well, it's her religious freedom. She believes, therefore she should be able to wear either the niqab or the full on burqa. On the other hand, you hate gays. You can't make a cake. This is what's crazy. This is what drives people insane.
By the way, those outfits are Arab outfits. They're not necessarily religious. They're kind of taken as religious. But it's nonsense.
It's more cultural, you're saying?
Yeah, it's a cultural iconic.
I believe there is some language in the Quran.
I mean, they wear sometimes a headscarf. Okay, fine. We're talking about a facial cover-up.
Yes.
So we don't know who this woman is. The judge doesn't know who it is. It could be anybody.
It could be someone else.
It could be. It could be a guy. This is crazy that they allowed this. If it's true or it's just part of a joke, a giant gag played on the public, and they have her in this as though it's acceptable in court.
Yes.
They shave your hair off a lot of times. Well, they make you wear jumpsuits like you're a prisoner, and sometimes they keep you handcuffed. But she can wear this? Are you kidding?
Here's a question. Maybe it was all a ruse. Maybe the whole arrest was a ruse.
That's what I'm thinking, actually.
Okay. I'll go with that. You mentioned the Boston Bombers. Bob Baer, who is, I love Bob Baer. He's always on CNN. He's their analyst, and they always call him the former CIA operative. What do you think he did at CIA?
I don't know. Did you look him up?
I don't think it says. I think it just says CIA operative. I don't think it says. Let's take a look.
You can kind of figure it out if you can figure out what his itinerary.
Let me take a look.
I never thought to look him up, but you're right.
I think we did look him up at one point, but let me see. Bob Baer. Robert Baer, American author, former CIA case officer who was primarily assigned to Middle East. So case officer, that's not station chief. That means you're not really in the field. You talk to people. Hey, man, come here and have he does meetings. That's what I think he does. Meetings.
Okay, meeting guy.
So they asked Bob Baer about the Boston Bombers. Of course, interesting trial. There's a lot of questions about. In fact, there's a lot of things that did not come up in the trials, the transcripts I've read. Like remember those all those guys who were walking around in paramilitary outfits from this? What was the name of that contractor? They had all the hats on. They had this super secret vans with all the stuff on top, and the bomb squad was there. It was all so coincidental. All these things happened, and Bob Baer. Very similar to what you just said about wanting to expand. We need more. We need to have clusters. He's just coming out and saying, "Oh, this is not done."
Well, I haven't seen the investigation, and I haven't really got deeply inside of it. But a couple law enforcement people who want to bag the evidence on this have been quite insistent to me that these two didn't build that bomb alone, and that undoubtedly they got help. And it's not for lack of trying. They tried to identify a third party.
Who they killed.
But they said the rewiring on the pressure cooker deviated from the Inspire magazine. They added that 35 pounds of flash powder. Those guys didn't make it alone. And then there was the detonator and the command detonator, which was clearly a sophisticated device. And as one of these investigators told me, these two knuckleheads didn't do this on their own.
I find this to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is a great clip.
And he has a follow-up to it, if you want to hear. Because
where is he again?
No, but he's...
what's he talking? What show?
CNN with Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper. And he's no longer in Colorado. He was in Irvine, California for some reason.
Is law enforcement still actively looking for potential accomplices?
Oh, I think undoubtedly. And it goes back to Dagestan, where Tamerlan spent a long time there. And the question is, did he disappear into the mountains of Dagestan and join an insurgency group and get training or actually get instructions from somebody up there? But, the FBI's run into, dead ends, no doubt about it. And if they get any leads, they will pursue them and they will indict a third person if there was one involved.
No, kill him. So dead man tell no tales.
Just to be clear and to refresh the memories of our viewers, there was this Inspire magazine, this jihadist magazine that had instructions on how to build a similar bomb, but this one was different, and you and your law enforcement sources say that neither brother had the expertise necessary to A, build these bombs in the Inspire magazine, and certainly not to do the rejiggering, the rewiring that actually happened.
No, we can now add to glitch and blip rejiggering. This would never I've not heard this at all. Everyone was all in. Oh, they built it from How to Build a Bomb in the Kitchen of Your Mom from Inspire magazine. Everyone was all in. This is where it came from. They're self-radicalized, they're homegrown. Now it turns out they probably, according to former CIA operative Bob Baer, these knuckleheads could not have built this. It was sophisticated. Well, this is an outrage. We have a master bomb maker on the loose.
It's the rewiring that's got them confounded, because they really improved that device considerably and to make sure it went off and the rest of it and had the maximum detonation on it. So, and these two guys, there's nothing in their backgrounds that would suggest that they could easily figure this out on their own from experience or the rest of it. So the possibility of someone helping them either on the ground in the United States or somebody at some point walking Tamerlan through this and letting him actually work on these devices.
Oh, gee. But now I'm thinking, are you thinking what I'm thinking, John?
Yeah, 2 more patsies set up by the FBI, but this time they were cut loose and the FBI backed off because these things weren't supposed to explode.
That's right. And here's Bob Baer, former CIA operative, making the FBI look bad. I think.
Well, that's what he's doing, but he's not doing it overtly, though. He's only doing it to people that can read between the lines, which is not the public.
25 seconds.
And then you talk to a lot of other people that just looked at the chase after this and the fact that they used improvised devices to break contact with the police. That's something you don't pick up on the internet. You've got some sort of training or experience or instruction.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the chance of these guys...
Shut up.
I'm sorry, just finish your thought.
Shut up, go away. Cut him off.
The chances of these guys operating alone are zero. I mean, it's not anybody trying to...
you stepped on that. Listen to what he says at the last.
Got some sort of training or experience or instruction. So I think the chance of these guys...
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Just finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the chances of these guys operating alone are zero. I mean, it's not anybody trying to cover this up. They just can't identify the other party.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but how about FBI? I'll identify him for you. FBI. It's disgusting. And how come we never see any interviews with any family members of the 3 victims?
I think we have. But
okay. But I couldn't find it.
So MSNBC has a new segment.
Okay.
It's called a 30-second briefing.
And let me get. Do I have to guess? Is it 30 seconds? Is it?
No, it's not. It's not one of my. I checked that, by the way. It is 30 seconds. Okay. If you have to take the first a bunch of music. They play like 10 seconds worth of music on top of the 30.
All right.
But they take one expert, one topic. 30 seconds is the way they begin it when they tease it. But then they have some guy come on about one topic where this guy's supposed to bring us up to speed, and this topic is the one on this particular show.
ISIS has been successful at recruiting by identifying a niche audience of extremists around the world and using social media. ISIS propagandists have focused their efforts on platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. ISIS is an entire media unit dedicated to producing nothing but English-language propaganda aimed at young Muslims living in the West. By highlighting the roles recruits play on the battlefield, the group has successfully inspired others seeking camaraderie and a sense of purpose, even as it shockingly executes innocence on camera.
Oh, there's your ISIS in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's part of the big narrative with the clusters. It's the same thing. It's just as this is going on, they're targeting Americans. Oh, my God, what now?
Yeah. Americans, service personnel, there's master bomb makers on the loose. And the song is haunting. I love this song. It's such a hit. Oh, this is the enhanced version with the swords. Yeah. I love that version.
There's a little interesting kind of double dealing going on. This is just a very short clip. I just thought it was interesting. The arms business.
Okay.
Modi.
Oh, in India.
All right.
There's a little clip here. It's kind of unique.
Modi is currently visiting France, where he met with President François Hollande. The two have struck a deal for India to purchase 36 French-manufactured fighter jets.
Le Mirage. Very nice. Very nice. Well, I have some military-industrial complex news, a follow-up, kind of. I learned a lot about the A-10 Warthog. And I normally, also known as Silent Death, or the Zipper. These are terms I'm now familiar with, and we all shall become familiar with them. You'll recall there was and this is a couple months ago, they wanted to get rid of the A-10 Warthog. Actually, this goes back much further. They wanted the Joint Strike Fighter, the F-35, which is this $400 billion turd, which doesn't fly. I don't think it actually can't fly.
No good.
It can't fly. Now they're trying to replace it with the Scorpion, which
But the Warthog or the 35?
No, the Warthog. No, the 35, that's ongoing. But the problem is the Warthog has been in business for 40 years. It's had consistent upgrades, and and I'll get into it. It's a fantastic. The people in the field, boots on the ground, 11 Bravo, they love it, and you're going to hear why in a moment. But we need to. It's a very cheap plane. It only cost when the first one was built. It was less than $10 million to build it. If you continue to build them, which they don't, but you're still under $20 million per aircraft. This thing is so beautifully constructed. It flies low and slow at low altitudes. I'm pretty sure with an afternoon of ground flight training, I could probably fly this. It
has the most powerful gun,
yes,
of all aircraft.
Now, they want to replace this. Now, remember, the A-10 Warthog, and it's called the Warthog because it's ugly, and there's another reason for the sound it makes. It's called Silent Death or the Zipper. The Scorpion, the boys and girls out there in the sand who are doing whatever they're told to do, they call the Scorpion the Barbie plane. And if you look at the Scorpion, it does look like a Barbie plane. It has a little bit of a. If you made it pink, it would look even better. Now the A-10 has a number of things. You mentioned the gun. It has this big 30 millimeter cannon, like a Gatling gun in the front. It has its engines mounted up to the rear. Very efficient turbofans. It can linger
two engines.
Yeah, 2 engines. It can linger for 4 or 5 hours. It can go slow. And the main thing is the pilot can see everything. Doesn't have to look through what they call the straw. Not some little video screen, but because of the way the cockpit is constructed, it's a big bubble. You can see everything. And there's also a ton of titanium under his ass, which protects him from being shot by ground forces. So there was a general, and his name is Major General James Post III, who was fired, removed from his position for the following. He had told everyone under his command, and he was in the Air Command. I can find his exact title, actually. He was in the Air Command. He told everybody, if there's a congressman who asks you about the A-10, you may not tell that congressperson about the A-10's capabilities, or I will have you court-martialed for treason. And this, of course, yes, for treason. It would be treasonous to tell any congressperson that the A-10 is better than anything, saves lives, and the guys on the ground love the A-10.
Now, who was this again?
Major General James Post.
Why don't they bring him up in front of Congress and read him the riot act?
I think they might have to do that. I'm not sure what happens when you're dismissed. I'm not exactly sure. But the main thing was it would be treasonous, and he threatened, this is a whistleblower issue, really. He threatened everyone under his command, you cannot tell anyone in Congress about this plane, how good this plane is, because obviously he's part of the military-industrial complex. His job is to usher the Barbie plane into existence. I have 2 quick clips here. This is a couple of Warthog pilots talking about what they do and how much they love this aircraft.
It's a pretty easy answer to in terms of why are we here.
Number one priority is always saving guys on the ground.
The people that we so closely work with, the guy on the ground.
That's my whole soul and being, is that guy on the ground. He could be an 18-year-old guy.
We hear the bullets flying. We hear him taking cover. We hear him breathing hard. And it becomes a very personal mission, especially when you start hearing about guys taking casualties down there. You take that hits very, very close to home. Nobody ever wants to hear that.
Come on, man.
This is inside the cockpit as he's firing.
Saving the day again, baby.
All right, so you watch. You can. And it's easier to see the video, but the whole point here is when troops are on the ground, they're under fire and they need help. They love the Warthog because it comes in low. It can directly just blow everybody up on the ground with this 30 millimeter cannon, and they're in constant contact with each other with the pilot, so they love it. And it's really the air support for boots on the ground. Then we have this is the, what is he called? The JTAC is the Joint. I looked this up too. The Joint Terminal Attack Controller. And these guys are all these videos. They're blurred out. Their voice hasn't changed, but you can't identify them because they might be dismissed for treason. So these are the guys who actually operate the theater and control everything going on. They're even more in love with this aircraft, as witnessed in this clip.
With the 11 Bravos, with the ground troops that I work with, when they think close air support, they think A-10s. If you tell them something else, you can always kind of hear them like, I don't care about that. Like, tell me when A-10s are on station. And I think the reason for that is they almost share the same mentality. If you were to say that there's a grunt in the sky, it'd be a hog pilot. They know the ground picture. I think their mentality, as well as 11 Bravo mentality, it's the same. Get down there, get down and dirty, and kill bad guys. That aircraft is suited for doing that. It reassures 11 Bravos every time you have Hog on station. I think they know a lot of the capability just because they're exposed to it. And it's very distinguishable. The noise, when it comes overhead, it has that squeal. When you hear that gun, that sound is so distinguishable. Everyone on the ground, it literally shakes the ground. It is amazing. You hear it first when it fires, and then you hear it echo from the gun in the sky. That sound right there just drives 11 Bravos nuts. It's amazing. It's that sound of... corny like freedom, but it really is. It's the sound of don't mess with me. Scares off everyone and shows you're in good hands.
Now, you do not want guys like this if you're in the military-industrial complex. You don't want guys like this testifying like this in Congress. It's the sound of freedom. It's like, don't mess with us. No, you want to sell the Barbie plane. And that's why these troops were threatened, and now this guy is being fired. I think so they can't bring him up on charges. He's dismissed. Get him away, and let's not have anyone talk about it. This is scandalous.
It is scandalous.
I want to play the sound of this thing that it makes. Like a little 30-second clip of the whine it makes and of the cannon with the echo the guy was talking about. Now you understand the Warthog. There's the whine. And here comes the fire. It's almost unbelievable. It sounds like a fart, like a really loud fart. That's the Warthog. That's where it comes from.
The hog noise.
Yeah. And this, it's like this Gatling gun on the front. I love it. Take that. Take that, ISIS.
Well, it's funny because that's a Republic jet, and this new one's Textron.
Yes, it is Textron.
And the new one looks looks flimsy. And they're bragging about how much it could. They're claiming that the new jet, which is always bullcrap,
which has no gun. It has no gun.
It doesn't?
No.
It does not have.
How good is it?
It does not have the.
And it's also it is $20 million, and in today's dollars compared to the Warthog, you have to assume that the $20 million will go to 40, then 60, and still be a piece of crap.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. This is just making jets for the purpose of making jets.
Yeah, but it's also in this case, it's going a little further. It is if they should really replace the A-10, it's putting lives at risk.
They don't care.
I know.
Are you kidding?
But the thing I guess I'm pointing out is that you would never hear about this on the mainstream because these guys have to be all in on the military industrial complex. You can't just start meddling with that.
No, going to cost somebody some money. And this General Post guy, he's probably got a job lined up outside, and he has to do his. He's got to be in there doing what he has to do. You want that job, General? You really want that board membership? You better get this deal done.
Better get that done.
We don't want to hear a bunch of soldiers bitching and moaning. No.
Oh. Ooh. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I lost you there for a second.
You lost me.
Yeah. But
I was just saying this guy would be saying, that you take care of your soldiers. They're supposed to be taking orders, not complaining.
Oh. Yeah, well.
Get them, shape them up. Throw him in the brig.
Yeah, well, that's what he threatened. He threatened treason, which is even worse.
Well, I think that he needs to be taken before Congress and read the riot act, and that contract should be killed.
Do you really think it's going to happen?
A-10 Thunderbolt 2. Go back into. They actually have that plane. A lot of them are the Thunderbolt 2s. Yeah, do I think that's going to happen? I think it could happen.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised. There's been crazier things that happen. Nobody pays attention to it. I mean, the guy could be out there and literally fired from his position by Congress, and it wouldn't be reported anyway. There's not even a reporter watching these things.
No, you know what? PBS should be all over this. Don't you think it's not a PBS type of thing?
I think they've actually discussed this a little bit already. But don't forget, they got a bunch of jet makers.
Boeing and Textron.
Like this Textron. I don't think Textron is one of their sponsors.
I think they have.
I don't think so, but I think they could be.
Yeah. Now here's what PBS is doing. They have a science show. They have
Science! Let's not beat around the bush. You know you've thought about it, and today we're going to answer it. Could you fart your way through space?
I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's on public television. This is fabulous. Why report on actual news?
You're kidding.
No.
What's the answer to the question, by the way? Could you fart your way through space?
If spacesuits didn't put a firm barrier between you and the outside environment, space would kill you. But for the sake of this episode, let's take some biological license and pretend you could survive without a suit. Or, if you prefer, pretend you have a suit with special valves that would allow you to pass gas into the vacuum of space. Could you then propel yourself with farts? And if you could, how fast could they make you go? Before we can analyze the concept of a fart rocket, we need to understand the mechanics of those two ingredients separately. Farts and rockets.
That's PBS. I kid you not.
A fart rocket.
Yeah.
Well, you've been waiting for that one.
No, I was really more of a throwaway, actually. But here's what I was waiting for.
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
There you go. iPhone, schmyphone. All right, Johnny boy, I see you have tech news clips. I presume you have a tech news segment ready for us to go.
I have two pieces of tech news. One involves Austin. I think we should play this.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Let's turn to a story that shows how apps and the tech economy are delivering a jolt to the traditional world of retail with the growth of same-day delivery. It's on the rise in a number of metro areas. And just today, Amazon announced a plan to expand these services into Austin, Texas.
Ah, the tech economy? Did she really say the tech economy?
Yeah. Now,
yes, I received this.
It's a long segment that I didn't clip any other pieces out of, but it goes like this. Oh, we're going to have same-day delivery. We're going to have both Google and Amazon doing same-day. And they're going to get groceries, and then there's going to be the little drone that's going to drop packages off. You need it fast. And there's actually Paul Solomon, who did the piece, says they're trending towards same-day or better, which I'm thinking you get it yesterday or the day before, yesterday, which seems unlikely.
Well, it's an hour. It's an hour. An hour.
Anyway, it goes on and on and on. And then they finally conclude with there's only very few people that need this service, And it turns out that much of it is fingernail polish in some metropolitan areas, especially New York, where they have same day. People would need fingernail polish, apparently, and they get a lot of it quickly from. And the post offices get involved. Everyone's getting involved, but then the studies show that it's really a who needs it thing. People are in the Silicon Valley milieu, San Francisco. They use it. They used it in 1999 when these stupid places, all these delivery services cropped up, and then it failed, and this is going to fail again.
What is it? Webvan? Was that the name of this? The
Webvan was one of them. Peapod, I think, was another.
I received a notice from Amazon. I have downloaded the app. It's called Prime Now, and you receive your goods within an hour, at the most 2 hours. And I've looked at some of the reviews, and most of what I saw is, I was cooking biscotti, and I ran out of an onion. Thank you, Prime Now. It seems like that's pretty much what people are using it for. Like, I forgot one little thing, or maybe as you say,
$6 onion. By the way, anyone who can cook worth of crap can get by without a lot of stuff in the recipe.
But you can also, I was thinking you can buy a lawnmower. They'll deliver it within an hour. I just looked at what was available. Like, who needs a lawnmower within an hour? And what kind of pressing matter do we have?
Most of this is pretty much like, why don't you just get off your ass and go to the store?
Well, we can agree that these news reports, and that was from PBS NewsHour, it sounded like. This is just advertising. It's commercials for these companies. It's just advertising. I mean, the Apple Watch from Kron, that's public television, is it not? Kron, K-R-O-N, that's up in your neck?
Kron? No, K-R-O-N's an independent.
Oh, it's not I thought it was a PBS company.
No.
Oh,
it used to be an NBC affiliate. They lost their affiliateship because they wouldn't play ball, and then they just went becoming a second-rate independent station.
Oh, they did this long commercial for the Apple Watch, was just
it's a commercial.
Disgusting. And everyone who's in this, and they're in the Apple Store, and they're into. You want to hear it, or is it? No.
I'll listen.
The Apple Watch, it is now on display in Apple stores. People can hold it. They can get a closer look, but they can't buy it yet. That watch is back-ordered until June. In fact, some models will ship as late as August.
Look, they're giving shipping details. Just be ashamed, people.
Stores in the Bay Area packed today with potential watch buyers trying it on, getting a close look at different models. Pre-order went online early this morning and quickly sold out. Our tech reporter Gabe Slate visited.
Gabe Slate. Do we know Gabe Slate?
No.
Okay, he's a tech reporter, just so you know, which apparently means fashion.
Visited an Apple store today to see who's buying.
That's fantastic.
It's amazing. I mean,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I just want to touch it.
So not as big as I expected it to be.
Good. And the sports one is lighter than I thought.
Honestly, I'm pretty impressed. I think that it will meet my needs.
I'm definitely going to get one.
I don't hear anyone saying this is bogus. Where's the John C. Dvorak interview?
I want it because it's a cool gadget.
Dude, I'm going to get that Watch Sport, and it'll be on all day, and I'll have my heart rate, I'll have all that stuff going, and it'll be my new best friend.
I'll have my heart rate going. And they did a funny thing here. They did stop it and say, wait a minute, my best friend?
All day, and I'll have my heart rate, I'll have all that stuff going, and it'll be my new best friend.
Did he just say the watch would be his best friend?
And it'll be my new best friend.
Okay, so yeah, as you can imagine, a lot of the people packing the Apple stores today to check out the watch are serious techies, the ones who have to have the latest gadget.
I have all the Apple stuff.
I have to stop. I can't listen to it anymore. The whole it's just one big commercial.
Yeah, it's a big commercial. You're right.
And everybody is doing this, just providing commercial content for Apple. It's baffling.
Unstoppable.
Baffling. We have another tech news here, or we can skip in that? You have another one here. Cam app?
I've got another one. This is actually an interesting. Actually, we can skip. We can put it to the next tech news. It's not timely enough, but I want to say that I was listening to one of these podcasts that has a lot of people talk like this. And they were, and it was like, let's just say, I'm not going to berate them, but I'm going to say this is like an Apple-oriented podcast, which is not unusual. And they were just going on and on about how great it is that Apple's new policy to try to minimize the lines at the Apple store by having people order online is such a great idea from Apple. They are a fantastic company for doing this, because those long lines were kind of like, who does that? Oh, nobody just waits in line, and good thing for Apple. And it went on and on. I'm thinking, wait a minute, they were all in on the waiting in line and all the free publicity they used to get, but now that Apple doesn't want to do that anymore.
Right.
It's a pain. That's great. It's like whatever these guys say. All Apple users should commit suicide. Wow, what a great Apple is genius for suggesting, because I think a lot of these Apple users should commit suicide.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up then, I guess.
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
That's right. We need to update with some watch stuff. We need to get that Tech Grouch guy out there and do something for us.
Tech Grouch.
I only had one more thing, just as a kind of a tosser for you. Really, it was for you. I only built this for you, if you're interested. Here and Now is a NPR program, and they have a the resident chef, Kathy Gunst, and she's talking about teaching kids the value of growing vegetables at school, and you can only guess what kind of vegetable it would be.
Marijuana?
Yeah. Why, yes, John. That's exactly what it is. No, kale, of course. Hello.
Oh, kale.
And by the way, I had just before the car crashed, I was at a cool little restaurant here in Austin, and they were selling sautéed calettes. And this apparently is a real vegetable, a hybrid of a Brussels sprout and kale.
Wow, take the two worst vegetables in the world and blend them. Who would come up with, what maniac?
I know. It's a calette. Kalette. Kalette. Have you heard of this?
No, I have now.
Yeah,
I'm going to look it up.
It's hurtful. And while you look it up, I'll play this, how we are teaching our children. And I had a whole argument. The waitress, she got mad at me. I said, what is this? A calette? Is that actually kale and a Brussels sprout? That's real? She said, yes. I said, do you want some? I said, no, absolutely not. And she got pissed at me. I said, who wants the kale? It's garnish. And now you're ruining the Brussels sprouts with it. Yeah, all right. Here is Here and Now. And this is teaching children the value of kale.
So you get a lot of bang for your buck. But the most exciting thing is the education that goes on. I can be in the grocery store locally sometimes, and I'll see kids from the school shopping with their parents, and they'll hold up a bunch of kale in their basket next to the toilet paper and the paper towels.
Where it belongs, by the way, belongs next to the toilet paper, you kale.
The paper towels. Mrs. Gunst, look, we're buying kale at home. And the mother looks at me like, yeah, he's hooked on kale. And I think, this program's really working.
Hooked on kale.
Hooked on a new T-shirt.
Have more kale. 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 Have more kale.
You
have
will
more
obey.
kale.
You
have
will
more
obey.
kale.
You
have
will
more
obey.
kale.
You will
have more
obey.
kale.
All righty, there we go. Now, did you look
find
at
this thing? Oh, there it is. Colette's.
Yeah, Colette's.
Finally.
Yeah. It's a disgusting product.
Kale and Brussels sprouts hybrid.
Yeah.
Where do you even get this stuff? It's also Colette's Braca flowers, another new one.
Braca flour. Yeah. That's none of this is good, John.
Huh. Mm-hmm. This probably gets tons of money for the per pound. Better than Brussels sprouts. These are the new vegetables for 2015, according to NPR.
Superfood.
It says, does a cross between Brussels sprouts and kale sound like your vegetable dream come true?
Sure does. No.
All right, we'll finish with that.
Thank you very much for listening. Remember us there at Dvorak.org/NA. We need all the help we can get. Wouldn't mind it being up a little bit more from today. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I'm going out right now to track down some colettes. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We will be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda.
Is not high and contains vocal fry that's annoying.
If there's a need for a rescue mission, when the world is threatened,
When the world needs help, it calls on America. And that's the story.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA